Hey, family. Hold on for a second. I just had a kale salad from Chick-fil-A and it was really good. But am I the only one who notices that food that is good for you and green tends to be really cumbersome? Like kale always gets in your teeth. Asparagus makes your pee smell funny. Like, I need to find a sexier way to be healthy. Hey, family. Hey, Flo. Hey, Roro. Hey, Naomi. By the way, Empress, I see you in here as well. Guys, can we all just clap for the fact that this live actually happened? Because I wasn't sure there for a second. And if you see me flossing or looking to the side, assume I'm being attacked by some kale. Hey, Candace. Let me put the comments on the screen. Oh, you love a good kale? You know what's so funny? I love kale salad from Chick-fil-A. It is really good. Actually, Bridget's the one who put me onto it because I used to always get the garden salad with the little crunchy stuff on top. But that kale is not good for a date. I'm not talking to y'all worried that there's green shit in my teeth. Okay. Sorry, family. The ADHD came early today. So, real quick, I know we usually talk about pop culture, and I'll usually tag some fun, perhaps frivolous pop culture topic to whatever I really want to talk about. You know what I mean? I'm really good for a Trojan horse. I will take something frivolous and then, infuse a little bit of depth into it. Today, I don't feel like doing that. Oh, for those who are asking, how am I? Exhausted. I am exhausted. I am tired. What's another word for sleepy? I'm all the sleepy things. I have been going nonstop for for 6 months, if I'm honest. But I've been going nonstop since 8:30 on Monday morning when I picked up my keys, and I'm actually taken aback by how much I've moved on my own. Before the movers come next week, they're coming a couple of days after Christmas. I'm stunned that I've moved so much and I still have like 80% of my stuff still here in my old place. I'm currently at the old place because there isn't any Wi-Fi or my bed yet at the new place. And so until after Christmas, when the big old moving truck comes and takes everything, I kind of have to live in two places. Also, I'm a smart girl. My lease is not up until February 1st, guys. I moved a month before my lease was up because I wanted time to take my time. So I'm going to be living back and forth between here and the other place for the rest of this month. Then at the end of the month, when my sister comes to town, the moving company is coming to take 80% of my stuff. I'm still going to leave 20% of my stuff here until the end of January. And you know why? Because, guys, for those of you who are new here, I'm Blue Telusma. I'm a writer, a spiritualist, and emotional intelligence coach who uses pop culture and politics to, talk about things that are related to EQ and personal growth. And I have a candle line, and I spent $10,000 building my candle workshop in my backyard. I've lived here for over 5 years. So I want to have access to my investment up until the minute my lease is up. That space is pimped out. When the the mail guy came the other day, because we have like pretty lights, we have lamps, there's like a wall, it's like an apothecary, there's a wall full of herbs and stuff, there's all the wax on the other wall, it always smells really yummy. The guy came to bring my mail, and he comes every single day. I've known this man for years. I don't know his name though. And he was like, it feels so good whenever I walk up to here. It always just feels so good. And honestly, fuck the house. Although it's a cute house, everybody loves my cute little house, right? I'm gonna miss the shop. I'm gonna miss the shop. So that's why, even though 80% of my stuff is moving a couple of days after Christmas, the other 20%, i.e., the candle shop, will remain open until January 30th. So, if you were thinking of buying from the candle shop, you might want to do it before January 15th. Because once the candle shop is wrapped up in its current iteration, it might take me a beat to set it back up. Luckily, the space that I moved into is a new build, i.e., my house. Remember, I was like, oh my God, I got a 3-bedroom, 3.5-bathroom. My house was just done 2 weeks ago. Y'all got milk in your fridge that is older than my house. And so when you have a new build, you have to figure things out. There's a cute studio on the premises, like maybe like a house or two down, that they're still building. Right now, it's currently just bricks, but they're building a studio. And I talked to the management company, and they have said that because I make decent money. I made good money. They're like, if you're still interested when it's done being built in the spring, it's yours. So I might be getting a whole big old candle shop, right? But in the meantime, in between time, the entire first floor of my house is going to be, oh my God, in my house, how like down to earth. The entire first floor of my home is going to be dedicated to the candle shop and the orders. Bridget was skeptical because, you know, Bridget and I work in the candle shop a lot together. But when I walked around, let's just say the first floor of my current place is as big as, if not bigger than, my current candle shop. And I just realized it like 3 days ago when I moved in and started measuring stuff. So I know we're guaranteed to ship out candles. We're on break, guys, until I'm done moving until the end of the month. So if you have an order that's not out yet, please give me grace for the next week. Please give me until after Christmas because, come on, I'm one person. But my sister and Bridget are coming into town. We have a couple of friends who are also going to come into town. And we're going to be little elves all through New Year's Eve up until mid-January, pumping out orders. Oh, thank you, Flo, for putting up the link. So if you wanted to buy a candle from me, I'm going to keep it a stack with you. January might be your last chance until April, unless we can finesse it. Okay? All right. So that's enough of the life update. I love to do an update before we start. Now, why is today not about pop culture? Why is today not about Mariah the scientist saying yes to that man, her good Judy, young thugstress? Why are we not talking about all the things that are happening in society right now? Because, guys, there are so many evergreen conversations I want to have with y'all. And we've had such a fun 6 months only talking about pop culture with a little bit of EQ, you know, I sprinkle on everything. I want to see if this community is open to us just having real conversation without us always having a pop culture hook. And this one in particular, somebody said she's such a beard. How you doing? Be who you are. This topic in particular, housing, I cannot express to you the range of feelings that I have had as someone who's lived in a comfortable 2-bedroom, 1.5 bathroom, you know, little casita, my little casita with my little backyard and my little candle shop. I've had such a cute, quaint life in this house. And I got this place during the pandemic. And it's a rent stabilized area, which means they could not raise my rent past like maybe $100 every like year or two. Because of that, I think I have been insulated from just how bad housing has become. And I was like, am I crazy? Because I've always been the girl who always had like a townhouse or a big old couch that people would crash on. I've always been the housing girl, right? My friends make fun of me about how quickly I find good housing. In fact, the house that I moved into was my first choice. It wasn't the first one I applied to because a part of me thought I was never going to get it. It was my first choice, though. I tend to get my first choice of housing. So I was like, why does this time feel heavier? Because the last time I looked for housing was 2019. So why does this time feel heavier? Is it just me? And I fell down a rabbit hole. I did some research and I found out it's not just me. If you are someone, particularly in places like New York, LA, Miami, maybe even Atlanta, I know Atlanta is usually more affordable, but yeah, I think they're catching up, unfortunately for them. If you're someone who has not looked for housing in a while and you're about to start looking for housing, I'm telling you to prepare yourself emotionally. I'm an EQ coach who's incredibly emotionally stable and autistic, which means I don't really have huge reactions to like life shit. I have huge reactions to injustice. By the way, guys, for those who don't know, neurodivergent people, particularly autistic people, we have such a strong sense of right and wrong. That's why, even though we might seem like monotonous about most things, injustice makes us very angry. That's not just me just being passionate. That's part of my autism, actually, right? So I'm passionate about injustice. But like other shit, I'd be like, okay, well, look at life, just lifing. And so I was stunned that I was moved. There was a moment where I was like, I'm just gonna like live in this house where I'm being harassed. And we've already talked previously. Fuck you, Terry. We've already talked previously about my landlord's son, Terry, and why he's the reason why I'm leaving this house that Bridget and a bunch of my other friends begged me not to leave. Everybody was like, Blue, just stick it out for one more year. You have a dope space. You're living well under your means. By the way, guys, a lot of people don't understand that living under your means is the biggest flex. I'm going to miss it as of Monday. I'm no longer living under my means. I miss it already. Okay. I miss it already. So I had the ideal living situation and was harassed by someone who saw me go viral and then tried to illegally extort me for money. I'll get more into that in the members only live. And we will be having a members only live probably on Saturday or Sunday, because there's a particular story that I've seen on social media that I really, really, really want to talk to y'all about, but I don't feel like it's responsible to have that conversation. Well, it could be responsible, but it's touchy. When shit's a little touchy, I like to say that for members only area. By the way, guys, we are still 200 away from my 1,000 goal by Christmas. I don't know if we're going to make it. But if you want to help us get closer, I'm gonna keep on asking until we get to 1,000, guys. That is my dream on YouTube, is to have 1,000 subscribers and 100,000 members, so I can get my little plaque. Humor me, right? So I was like, okay, the housing market seems funky, but I am very financially responsible and I have a savings. Do you know how rare it is to have a savings account in 2025? About to be 2026. Shout out to anybody who's watching this in the future. Somebody said subscribe. Yeah, subscribe, please. Thank you. I love y'all. But no, like the fact that I had a savings account, I'm going to admit, it made me cocky. I was like, oh, if most Americans don't even have a savings account, me just having one makes me feel like I'm doing something, right? And y'all know whenever I get into my house dress and my bonnet, y'all know I'm about to like just kiki with y'all. So I'm excited about the fact that I have decent income, it's stabilizing, and have a savings account. As an artist, as a creative, a working class creative who's full-time self-employed, living in LA post the writer strike, that to me was like, oh my God, I'm golden. Yeah, let me tell you, I got humbled so fast. Oh, thank you, Elegant. It says, Miss Blue, do my spirit guides mess with me getting a brow piercing? No. Also, can Canadians order candles? No, they can't yet. If you find an American friend, we're actually, me and Bridget's husband, Cheech, who's amazing when it comes to merchandising, he set up a meeting for me at the end of this month with some people who might be able to help me with streamlining the business. And I love that it's a family business. I love that I work with like two of my bestest friends, and I just love it. I love anything community oriented that's healthy. That part matters, right? So I got humbled very quickly, but before I got humbled, I need y'all to understand, I'm starting to realize a lot of things about age, and this relates to the luxury conversation we're about to have. When you're in your 70s, all your sins can no longer be hidden. I've talked about this before. Me and Bridget and both have mothers in their 70s. My friend Natalie, who I grew up with, has a mother in her 70s. We are having support group meetings about what it's like to have a parent in their 70s who was not a feminist or was too much of a feminist and was a ball buster, and is now having to reconcile with what they really wanted versus what they pretend they wanted. Yes, it's bonnet and wine time. I miss y'all so much. Even in the middle of the fatigue, I missed y'all. So your 70s is when, if you want some bullshit, you can't hide it no more. I'm now also realizing your 40s is your second 20s. A woman's sexual drive. The thing about 40s is a crapshoot. And we're just about to turn 40 in April, because our birthdays are like 2 weeks apart. I'm so excited because I'm usually the big sister friend. So all of my friends are slightly younger than me. So the fact that I got to 40 first, and just kind of sitting here like, when you bitches gonna join me? I'm so excited because your 40s is your second 20s. And it's a crapshoot. You're either going to be very, very horny all the time, which is why young men hit on us. How you doing? Or you're going to have a dry puss and be complaining about perimenopause, or both. Oof. I heard some of y'all got both. That's rough. That's rough. Yeah, the 40s are rough. So it's a sexy, confusing, hormonal, and I don't just mean hormonal as in horny, I mean hormonal as in imbalanced. It's just a clusterfuck. It's also your second 20s. I just described your 20s. Your hormones are all over the place. You don't know if you're coming or going. You're horny, but you're also antisocial. And you just want to be free? Did I not just describe your 20s? Yes, guys, some people are getting both. So, because your 40s are your new 20s, it's no surprise that I fell into a trap that was set for the 20-somethings, but I fell into it. And it is called the white couch era, guys. Have you guys heard about this? The white couch era is how I got pulled into finding out about luxury apartment culture. So there's a young lady named Clark. I featured her before once briefly when we were doing our Danish Deception video. If you haven't watched that, you should. I watched it the other day and I had a key. I forgot it was me on the screen. But Clark was talking about the white couch era. Mind you, Clark makes millions and millions of dollars a year as an influencer. She's considered at the top of the influencer, black girl influencer food chain, right on the heels of veterans like Jackie Aina and them. So she was talking about the white couch era. And as she was describing it, I realized the white couch era is nothing but 20-year-olds repackaging what the rich aunties are already doing in their 40s. So if you haven't heard about it, guys, I'm going to start this off with where I was in September. Newborn streamer on YouTube. My content wasn't new because the content I'm doing on YouTube, I've been doing for like 10 plus years on Instagram and other sites. I just moved it to here and it's a different beast on YouTube, right? And so I was fresh on these streaming streets, and the Blue Crew, you guys had just started naming yourselves the Blue Crew. I love that y'all name yourselves. Y'all know I am not a king. I'll let y'all do what y'all want as long as it's safe. So y'all had just started calling yourselves Blue Crew. I had just started selling the candles. Business was booming. And then I see this clip and I want you guys to watch it because I'm thinking to myself, okay, fuck Terry. I got to say that at least once every 20 minutes. Because of Terry, I got to leave this amazing a house that I love and all my friends love, right? One hater is the reason why I have to leave my little sanctuary and finally like be paying 2025 bills in a way that I was hoping to evade for much longer. And I was like, okay, I'm going to get a new place. I need to start saving up. I got me a little coin, not a lot, but a little something. And then I saw this video.
Ask me about having a white couch, I would say I love them. I think they're beautiful, match every aesthetic, and you can do so much with them. But if you were to ask me on a deeper level, I would say that I love having a white couch because to me, it's been symbolic of the freedom and period of exploration.
Thank you. I just work here, y'all. Whatever the opposite of a dictator is, as long as y'all don't embarrass me, I'll let y'all do. I trust y'all. But I love that y'all have peeped that I really just work here.
That I wish every woman had in her early 20s. I always talk about this in my live videos, but I describe the period of life that I'm in as my white couch era. And
I'm working on it, guys. I'm working on the Blue Crew merch. Let me get into my house first. Let me work on housing, and then we'll get all the merch stuff. And I have some really great ideas for merch, but more than that.
Sometimes people ask what I mean by that, and I love talking about it because it's something that I hope comes off on my page and that a lot of young women take when they watch my content. Basically, I don't have a boyfriend, I don't have a dog, I don't have any kids, and so I live by myself and I get to do everything the way that I want to. I have the white couch I want to because I don't worry about my kids getting their Cheeto fingers on it. I don't have a dog who's pissing on it. I don't have a boyfriend whose friends are over and they're watching the game and have sodas in their hands and they're jumping up and it's a possibility that anything messes up. Like, my life is exactly the way that I want it to be and everything in it is curated to my liking. And beyond even the physical of the white couch, the idea of being able to make a design choice like that in my house or have certain things around that are sensitive or like having my TV on an easel, it's because I know exactly what's going to happen in my life and I don't have any other out.
Oh my God, she's talking about the frame. I almost got my TV on an easel. For those who don't know what the fuck we're talking about, you know those fancy frame TVs where your TVs can be art when you're not watching it? They now made a gold easel to put I considered it. And then I looked at my bills and said, bitch, you already have a TV.
Outside factors that are influencing the decisions I make for myself, whether that be home decor decisions or bigger decisions like where I want to live, what job I want to have, what kind of home I want to have, like all of these things that I think a lot of the time when you're young and you jump into a relationship or you have kids very early before you're maybe prepared to settle down in that way, you don't get to have autonomy over your life in that same way. I always think about my mom and my sister-in-law. My sister-in-law has been with my brother since they were in high school, super young, like 15 years old. And I want to say maybe around 22 or so, they had their first child. And so she never got to have the period of living by yourself, no kids, no boyfriend, living it up. You have your bachelorette pad with the white couch and you do whatever you want to do and you date whoever you want to date and you figure out what it is.
So guys, I'm going to take this down. I just wanted you guys to get a general sense. She is talking about the white couch and how it represents the autonomy that it takes to make such a bold and prickly, right? It's a precarious design choice because if you have a cat, a dog, a baby, a man, a woman, a non-binary, them, they, you have to worry about that. But when you are a woman who makes a certain amount of money, and also I think white couch can be for men. Shout out to the men out there who are living their own white couch era. Shout out to the Ligga Bigga Tigga, the LGBTQ community who are living their own white couch era. I think the statistics are showing, because I actually did look it up, because research. A lot of people are now waiting much longer to do the things that would stop you from getting a white couch. I think the medium age now, what did I read somewhere? The medium age for buying a house is now 40. Most people now are not even attempting to buy a house until they hit their 40s, right? And we're about to talk about that in a second. So because there's a bit of a like collective arrested development, because so many of the systems that made us conform to like marriage and babies and etc. have now been kind of toppled over. Even my friends who are married are like, this is not what my parents' marriage looked like, right? And so I was like, okay, Blue, you currently are not inviting nobody over. Well, you're not regularly inviting anybody over. And so, like, you don't have a pet. You haven't gotten a dog or a cat yet. You could you're in your white couch era. Maybe you should get a penthouse. And I was on the fence about getting a penthouse. And then my good friend, Bridget Kelly, drove past a luxury complex that reminded her of me. And she had the audacity to tell me. And so you know what I did? I became obsessed with this luxury building and I went to go look at it. And it was nice. My friend knows me. Everything about this luxury, ooh, it was so me. I was like, wow, just at me next time you build something like this. And so then I was like, oh, bitch, before you buy a house, because I already know that I want to buy a house in 2 years, right? And so the reason why I wanted to live below my means is because I'm trying to like save up and be responsible and have investments and pay my taxes, all the grown-up shit, so that in about 2 years or so, maybe even sooner, depending on how this market goes, I can buy a house when, it's time to pounce on the opportunity. Same way I had so many friends who bought houses in 2020 that are prospering because of it. This feels like, I hate to say it, 2025, economically speaking, feels like 2020 junior. So I was like, well, bitch, before you buy a house, get it out your system and get a penthouse. And suddenly my algorithm, the way it normally does when you have any thoughts, became obsessed with penthouses and luxury apartments. And that's how I fell down this rabbit hole. And let me show you how I started my search. Is there anybody out here who's looking for housing who's like, no, I'm not saying like you're homeless, but is anybody out here who's thinking about moving in 2026? Because I need you to understand, if the place you live does not suck, if you're not being harassed, fuck you, Terry. If you're not being harassed by your landlord's son and you like where you live, stay there for longer. Oh, you are? Savannah, you're looking? All right, let's look at the kind of apartments. Mind you, this apartment I'm about to show you is comparable to the one that I went to go look at. Jackie, you lived in a luxury apartment? Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Before you buy that house, please experience living in a high-rise apartment. Go get that penthouse. Don't let nobody tell you that it's too much, that you should go buy a house. I'm a realtor, and I'm telling y'all, if you can...
Okay, if you're a realtor, of course you're telling us. Guys, do you see this view? Do you see this house? Sorry, this penthouse?
Do it. Go do it. You should experience living in a high-rise apartment, especially if you live in a city like Atlanta, Miami, Houston, all those.
Now, here's the problem with this. And this is why I said, God, if I'm meant to have a penthouse, if this is the right thing for me, because a bitch does like luxury. I'm not even going to hold you. Then, send me a sign. Guess what sign I was sent? I was going to show the video, but I'd rather not because I look crazy in it. On Halloween, I was staying at the Intercontinental in a penthouse suite at the Intercontinental, which, by the way, that hotel is where I filmed that Hudda N-word video that went viral for me channeling Shelly and Ace and Olandria at the end of it. That video where I had the red turban and there's the big old skyline. Y'all remember that? Yeah, baby. I was okay. I was getting room service 3 times a day. It was like a little 48-hour staycation. So I'm at the Intercontinental on Halloween because I had just landed back from from Boston, and I just needed a beat. I needed to catch a beat because the minute I come into my house, I immediately start working. It's muscle memory. So I'm at the Intercontinental on Halloween. I order room service. I pass out blissfully from my edible, legally obtained. Do you know at 1 o'clock in the morning the alarm went off because someone had pulled the fire alarm, but we could not tell if it was a real fire. and I was like on like the 60th floor, 60 something floor. So guess what happened to my black ass at 1 a.m. on November 1st in my little penthouse suite with the panoramic view that I paid a shit ton of money to stay at for 2 days. I, with no bra on, and I realized in an emergency, I just grabbed my sweatshirt, my shoes, my wallet, and my laptop. Basically my business expenses, right? I grabbed my laptop bag and my sweatshirt and some shoes, and everybody's running towards the stairwell. And I'm like, what's happening? They're like, well, bitch, if somebody pulls a fire alarm, you can't take an elevator. At 1 o'clock in the morning on Halloween night, I had to, me and my titties, that part matters. Me and my titties in my luxury high rise had to walk down 60 flights of stairs. Around 30, I started singing Take Me to the King. By like the 30th floor, do you know what it's like to be on the 30th floor and recognize you have 30 more? Take me to the king. I said, now, honey, is this what it's like? Is this luxury? I had asked for a sign, and that felt very heavy-handed. By the 22nd floor, because 22 is my angel number, I said, well, it could end right here. They'll find me next to the 22 sign. Bridget and my sister will tell everybody this. I probably decided to go at this spot on purpose as a shout out to them. I'll meet my aunt at the go to, like, y'all, I really had surrendered. I surrender all. Every gospel song about you might have to die to see the Lord, I was singing to myself. Mind you, I finally come outside about 25 minutes later, thinking to myself, there better be a fucking fire. And I'm surrounded by people in sexy nurse outfits and Dracula outfits and Spider-Man outfits, because again, it's fucking Halloween night. I'm the bitch who does not leave the house between the hours of 2 and 4 unless I can avoid school areas. I don't even like being around when schools are letting out. Imagine how I felt in the middle of Los Angeles. Now my titties are stuck to my back because the sweat has created a binding of sorts. And I'm swarmed around a bunch of college kids with their cheeks out, wondering why I was dressed as Harriet Tubman for Halloween. I wasn't dressed as Harriet. That's just what happened to me on the way down. So I said, you know what? Me and my sticky titties are going to sit here and have a conversation with self. And I said, self, you need to go see that apartment that Bridget told you about. But this can't be your life. What if somebody has a grease fire and the alarm goes off? Take me to the king. Yeah, I know my limitations, guys. And guess what, guys? The next morning, I could not walk. What y'all didn't know during that first tarot class that I did for my high rise is I couldn't walk, because when you're walking down 60 flights of stairs and you didn't stretch because you thought you might be in the middle of a forest fire at 1 a.m., your like legs become sore in a way that I could only compare to had I left Port-au-Prince and swam to Miami for freedom. Yeah, that's the only thing that I can think of that's comparable from the pain that I felt the morning after the king didn't come to take me. So I went to go see the high rises, and I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm a high rise girly, but I still want a luxury apartment. So think about it, guys. I thought I wanted a penthouse. I was humbled by the fire alarm and my checking account, because them shits are expensive. And I was like, okay, well, I don't need a penthouse, but I do want a luxury apartment. I'm thinking in my head, a luxury apartment is a compromise. Let's play some more video.
Cities, go ahead and do it. Don't let nobody tell you that you shouldn't do it. Use this as motivation to go do it. I'm gonna give y'all a full apartment tour, but right now I just want to show y'all this. I got my door open because it feels good out here. And if you can do it, go do it. Go do it. Don't let nobody tell you.
Penthouse is 10K, baby. I ain't got it. Get somebody else. I ain't got it. I heard 10K and something in me died. Just hearing it. I don't have 10K. I need y'all to understand. Does YouTube pay me well? Sure. Did my financial advisor, who I had a long intervention with on Friday, we had an intervention, baby. She took me by the hand and said, "Now sit down." Because the tax man is coming. She informed me that I have 5 streams of income. That's why I'm also fucking tired. Did y'all know I have 5 jobs? I didn't know I have 5 jobs. Even with my 5 jobs, I can't afford 10K a month, baby. I got a mama in her 70s who didn't live right, so now I gotta pick up the slack. Yeah, so I heard 10K and chose to yes, guys, $10,000, 5 figures. The down payment on a house in 2017 is now 30 days of not being homeless in 2025. So I minded my fucking business the minute I heard 10K. You gotta know when you mind your business. Some conversations ain't about you. Any conversation where I'm paying $10,000 a month is not about me. I just work here and I don't work on that floor, right? So as you're looking, oh, it's so nice. Mind you, this looks like it might be Texas or something, and it's only like a 1 or 2 bedroom. This, if it's not a penthouse, is probably like $6,500, $7,500. The girls who are in areas that are not LA and New York are getting a little bit of a discount, a little un poquito, right? Even that's too much.
Tell you that you shouldn't. Don't let nobody tell you that it's too much. If you want that apartment, go get it.
I'm going to turn the volume down, but guys, look at, this is the kind of apartments I was looking at. I ain't never felt so poor in my life. Y'all, look at this. The arched, the aesthetic. I'm still not paying $10,000 though, respectfully. It's gorgeous.
$8 million penthouse if I don't have $8 million.
So after seeing this, I said, well, is there anybody out there who just would like to, is there anybody out there?
I want to go see an $8 million penthouse if I don't have $8 million.
I found him. He went to go see an $8 million penthouse, even though he did not have $8 million. And I started watching, right, the windows, right? A part of me was like, sex workers work. Then I was like, bitch, you got bad knees. No, that's not going to work. Like, the houses were nice, right? I also don't want to live the kind of life where every penny I make goes to rent and now I have no furniture. So somebody said Airbnb it for the weekend. Well, funny enough, because I knew I was going to be transitioning between my old place and my new place, back in September, I rented out a house in WeHo, a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom, cute little something. And WeHo is not cheap, y'all. But because I got it so early on Airbnb, it's much cheaper. Prices get a little hack. Prices get heavier and thicker and more difficult the closer you are to the date. So back in September, I rented out a house for the week. So New Year's Eve week, leading up to the first week of January, when we have our January 1st live, shout out to that. We're going to be doing Terra Tuesday on the 1st, which is a Thursday. I'm going to be in that rental house. I rented a house out months ago because I knew that I was not going to want to wake up on January 1st surrounded by boxes with Mel and Bridget face down on my couch, wondering where my panties are, right? Like, where are the knives? Where are the forks? I don't want to start off the year in chaos. So I went ahead and I rented out a house for that week. Well, I'm, whatever. Mind you, Kendall's making fun of me. He's like, but just tell me you got money. Because who the fuck says I'm renting out a 3-bedroom house in WeHo? And I said, Kendall, it's not that I got money. I mean, I'm not broke. But it's not that I have money. It's just that my mother always taught me, you either have time or money. If you're missing one, then do more of the other. I knew that I was not going to have the kind of the kind of money I would need to rent out that kind of house back then. So I had time. I rented it out 4 months early and saved me like 50%. Hack. So this young man is doing what I did for most of September and October. He was looking at places that he has no business looking at. And I want you guys to watch.
Because I have free will and I don't have the $8 million yet. But manifestation.
$8,106,000. Let's go.
I also really don't got no opinion on whether or not this shit worth $8 million or not, because I barely got $8, so I'm minding my broke ass business, and I really think that you should probably consider doing the same thing, Judge Judy.
Mind you, we are going to be talking about Dallas. I see Dallas has entered the chat. We're going to be having a long conversation about the prices in Dallas. Because what the fuck? Okay, so I muted the music, but for some reason it's still playing. So I'm just going to let it play out. I don't know why. All right, so what's the catch, right? Because when you see all these nice apartments, what's the catch? And not just, by the way, guys, by catch, I don't just mean the 10K. Because think about it. It ain't tricking if you got it, right? So if you are somebody who can afford $10,000, in fact, one of the people that I was vacationing with in London could afford that apartment. She got it, right? So for her, it wouldn't be ridiculous because she can afford that. I, Bluecentric, am not she. I am her. And so if you can afford it, then I was thinking to myself, well, there's nothing wrong if you can afford it. I can, but there's nothing wrong. I was wrong. Even if you can afford it, there is something wrong with the luxury apartment market. And I found out when I went to go read reviews of all the luxury apartments that I had spent weeks salivating about. And what I saw made me consider not leaving where I currently am. Oh, sorry, I forgot to unmute. I can't wait. That's the exact sound. I feel so triggered. This is the exact sound I heard about from the fire alarm in the weekend that I spent in that penthouse. That noise now makes me think of 60 flights of stairs and being blinded by sweat across your titties. I had to pause it because I have a little PTSD still. Till November comes.
I didn't want it to get to this point, but it's time I break my silence on my experience while living at the National Residences in downtown Dallas, Texas. What's marketed?
Now, her name is Crystal Nicole. Crystal is the because I'm not even gonna hold you. I wanted to go look at that place, and the lady showed me a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom. It wasn't a penthouse because I'm minding my business, but it was a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom high rise, and it was on sale at about 1,100 square feet for $4,600. That was the sale price. Because it had been $5,400 a couple of days earlier. And so I said, oh, it's on sale. A bitch likes to sell. And so, guys, I'm not gonna share too much about my finances. I want to be financially transparent, but I also understand people like to pocket watch. I can't afford 10K. If I make some choices and move some shit around, I could technically do 46. So I go to look at it thinking, if this is my dream apartment, I'm just gonna eat ramen for a year. I'm just gonna have a white couch here. Okay. I'm gonna be on live in my cute little high rise, and y'all gonna be like, Blue, what diet you on? I'm gonna say poverty, and we're gonna laugh, and I'm gonna just move out after a year. So I went to go see it. It was a gorgeous apartment facing a wall. I said, wait, 4,600 is for the one with no view. At this point, I was 75% cured of my desire to be a white couch girly in a penthouse. This video, yes, $4,600. And mind you, this penthouse, sorry, not a penthouse high rise, because the penthouse would have been like 10K and up. I saw a couple of penthouses for like 18, 25K. I said, I really need to mind my fucking business. I started choking. This high rise, that is $4,600 to like stare at the wall, is only a few blocks down from where I currently live. You really think I'm going to pay $4,600 to move down the street and stare at a wall when I have a fucking garden in the back and a fucking apothecary with magical candles and shit? Yeah, I was like, nah. Yeah, nah. I guess I'm going to spend the rest of my life arguing with Terry on text and email and phone calls. I guess this is my life now. I'm the girl who loves her house and hates the... And then I saw this, and I was 100% cured, because what happened to her, I fear, is what would happen to me.
As luxury living at the National has been everything but that. Living with no AC in the peak of summer, as well as appliances being broken, is just the tip of the iceberg. My mission in making this video is to spread awareness to anyone considering living at the National, as well as give a voice to those who feel this.
I love that she named it. I considered naming the place that tried to offer me a sale priced high rise for $4,600 staring at a wall, But I just found out that like one of our friends lives there, so that's the only reason why I'm not going to call them out.
Dismissed or taken advantage of by larger companies. To be clear, this is not about the amount of money that I paid to live there. This is just about basic decency. However, I will include those numbers to provide a little context to the story. One day my AC went out. I was thinking this was going to be fixed within hours or days at the max. However, what I was told would be fixed in a matter of a few days turned into 2 whole months in the peak of summer with no air conditioning.
Wait, where are you paying $550 for a 2-bedroom house? Is it 1947? What's going on? Where? Okay, you know what? Whenever y'all in Middle America start telling me how little y'all pay, I just get upset. Let me mind my business and watch the video.
2 months, no AC, all while paying $10,000 per month for rent. Little bit.
Her rent is $10K and she had no AC. One of the complaints I saw was that maintenance is trash at these luxury buildings. I'm paying 5 figures a month. And my titties are going to sweat every day, not just when the fire alarm is pulled.
Later, it'll make sense why I'm saying the amount of money that I paid to give context to the story. Their solution to this problem was to put 2 industrial-sized generators in my unit that made it sound as if I was living in a warehouse. Here is the primary bedroom. It's 89, and I've already been having it. The machines were so loud, it made it impossible to film content or even think clearly. This directly impacted my work since creating content is my full-time job. I also was not able to entertain any guests since the...
Wait, $850 in a one... Okay. Hey. Where do y'all live? Where do y'all live? $850. In LA, $1250 will get you a room in somebody else's house.
Generators were connected to my water supply. One time after a work trip, I came back home and stepped into a puddle of water because one of the generators were leaking. Now, throughout all of this, not once did management reach out to me to provide any compensation or apologies, but instead I had to be the one to reach out. When I did reach out, they still were not willing to offer compensation. And
by the way, guys, I watched a bunch of her video. Like, this is a shorter version, the TikTok version of the longer video. And I'm happy she made a shorter version because she really does get to the most of the point in the shorter version. But I watched her video and she taped herself talking to them. So the camera was facing her, not them. They were so fucking rude to her in so many of the videos. I said, oh, I would go to jail. For $10,000 with no AC, I'm telling, and the fire alarm goes off all the time for no reason, so we don't know if there's a fire or not. I'm saying something obscene to you.
Until I mentioned it. They then obliged and said they would offer me $1,500 while still having to pay.
Wait. Her rent is $10K a month, and when she goes 2 months in 90-degree weather, not being able to shoot content where she's speaking because she's a content creator, which is why she can afford the penthouse to begin with. So you're fucking with her ability to pay her rent. Rather than apologize for what I think is unlawful, because it sounds like her house was inhabitable, they were going to take $1,500 off. That's it? Exactly. Luxury should include the experience, not the aesthetic. And honestly, even the aesthetic in some of those places is very cheap.
Both full months rent. That is less than 10% of the amount of rent that I paid over those 2 months. And that was their concession. Complete slap in my face. Many days I cried in my apartment from how hot it was. And I had to choose between quiet and peace or air.
Wait. This sounds like the Fire Festival. You're paying $10K a month. I'm going to keep repeating that for those who are coming in the room. You're paying $10K a month and you're crying from heat exhaustion, from heat stroke. Like Ja Rule and them done sold you a tent and a cheese sandwich in a $10,000 penthouse because you have to choose between breathing or air. Girl, yeah, no.
Asking for additional compensation, I was denied and was told that that was the best they can do and I should have been appreciative because it didn't have to offer that to begin with. I then escalated the situation by asking to speak to the general manager, did so, and then he asked me to come into office in person and gave me the impression that we were going to come to a suitable solution. However, once I did walk in and sat down, he then told me absolutely nothing would be changed and that would remain the offer. Yet another instance of my time being wasted and my concerns being dismissed. And quite frankly, playing in my face. After speaking with fellow residents, it came to my surprise that multiple people in the complex was experiencing the exact same issue and still having to pay a full month's rent with no concessions while
you see what she's saying? She's saying what I'm saying. What happens when you find an amazing place and you're leaving ultimately because of poor management? Every gorgeous place that I found with beautiful fixtures actually was luxury in the sense of aesthetics and vibe and ambiance. All the reviews, because I'm the kind of girl, if I'm going to buy a fucking tote bag on Amazon, I want to read into page 27 of the reviews before I buy it. I'm one of those. I don't think any of you are surprised. I was reading those reviews. 99% of them left because of management. I'm leaving because of Terry, management, right? So when you are not an owner of a home, you are dealing with a third party who is speaking on behalf of the owner. And that third party, if they're a son of a bitch, it doesn't matter if you found a dream home.
Having no AC in their unit. Many of them also had utilities broken and with no urgency to get it repaired. On top of that, since the day I've moved in, fire alarms have been going off on my floor once to twice a week. No AC.
I'm so triggered by that noise. Oh my God. I don't think I fully recovered from Halloween. Halloween was only like 2 months ago. Somebody said you have a great building manager. Please get them something for Christmas. I will never again. I was a property manager back in the day when I was like in between writing gigs and I was running my production company, and I was doing it as a way to get like a little bit of extra income because all my money was going back into the business. And I made it a point to be lovely to everybody. To me, it was just a fun thing to do while I was editing my videos behind the desk. But now that I'm on the other end, I'm like, oh my God, no wonder those people love me so much, because finding a building manager, a property manager, any kind of housing manager who's actually a decent, kind, thoughtful person, like the place I just moved to, they have been so lovely to me. I have a little bit of PTSD where I'm like, you're all so nice. Is this going to last, or am I being catfished or love bombed? I have PTSD from dealing with Terry. I do. In fact, today, as I was leaving to go bring a couple of bags of toiletries and stuff over to the house to go meet the painter, at 8:30 in the morning, Terry's father, who also owns the place, was roaming around, sneaking around, just looking around the house, trying to see what I'm up to at 8:30 in the morning.
Alarm is going off randomly. One time, it even went off 6 times in 1 week. And typically, it happens between 1 and 2 a.m. Mind you, it's 1 a.m.
Wait, 1 a.m. was when my fire alarm went off. Wait a minute. I didn't hear this part the first time I watched this. 1 a.m. is when I got woken up. If you live in a penthouse and you're paying all that money and you're getting woken up at 1 a.m., I can't explain to you how jarring it is if you are deep in sleep.
When I tell you I cannot wait to expose this apartment, I can't wait till November comes. It is 1 a.m. I have a flight in 5 hours.
They still go off till this day with no explanation or urgency to fix it. This was something the leasing office was very aware
You guys were not going to jump Terry, okay?
of, yet failed to inform me of this before I moved in. I live right below a restaurant called the Monarch, so their kitchen somehow sets off the fire alarms on my floor. However, that's not something that I should have to deal with. On top of that, we had to be the ones to alert concierge that the fire alarms were going off. One time, there was an actual fire in the building and they did not know. And it wasn't until 10 minutes later I heard the ambulance coming, and they then told me to come down ASAP.
See, that's the part that fucked with me is, what if, I know it's probable if you hear a fire alarm on Halloween night, duh, it's probably somebody pulled the alarm playing a prank. I don't want to be the person who guessed wrong though. It's almost like even if you know there's only a 1% chance there's no fire, you kind of have to always act like there's a fire, because God forbid there's a fucking fire.
Mind you, I'm on the 48th floor. Concierge used to also have a cell phone where we were able to text them in case of emergencies, and that was extremely helpful since we often had fire alarms where we weren't sure if it was an actual fire. However, they decided to get rid of that cell phone to save money on a phone bill. So that alone puts my life as well as my dog's life in jeopardy. On top of that, both of the ovens in my home have been out for 3 months and are still currently out. I have 2 ovens and neither of them work. I can't bake cookies if I wanted to. At this point, I can't even bake a thought if I
Wait. Why does it sound like she lives under a bridge? This is giving homeless. It sounds like Crystal was glamping in her penthouse. For those who know what glamping is, it's just luxury camping. All right, I'm gonna stop. I think I need to stopping the video because I think I'm being triggered watching this video. I didn't realize it until just now.
Wanted to. Every time I've asked for an update, I've been met with passive aggressiveness as well as dismissive attitudes. While I'm being told that they're doing what they can, but the repair date continues to be pushed further and further back. Yet again, no compensation or concession offered. Now, 2 weeks ago, I was told the part would be in on October 31st. Would you like to know what my move-out date is? October 31st. On top of everything else, the National is connected to the Thompson Hotel. Many of the conveniences that I was promised while signing my lease have been slowly taken away. I was told penthouse residents will receive 5 complimentary hotel stays. However, upon trying to redeem that as of last week, I was told they are no longer honoring that. No type of concession to make up for it, just a simply no, we won't honor it. I was also promised quarterly flower arrangements. Ask me the last time I received one. I was told we would have a dedicated package concierge, and that was a really important perk for me since I am a content creator who gets a ton of packages. Yeah. They fired him. We were supposed to have a house car that would take you within a 5-mile radius for free. Gone. Free continental breakfast twice a week. Eliminated. Coffee and tea service every morning. Removed within 3 months of signing my lease. All these perks disappeared, yet the rent remained the same. And once again, this is not about bragging over luxury.
It's not DC, it's Dallas. But yeah, the Dallas deception. And here's the thing that's so interesting too. As someone who gets a lot of packages, because, you know, my candle shop, we constantly have vessels coming in. We constantly have big vats of wax coming in, wicks, labels. I'm constantly getting packages, right? I just came home to 1, 2, 3, 4 packages. I don't know what's in them. I'm about to open them. When you have a business that requires you to have goods, it puts you in a weird position because any place you live has to be a place where you feel safe. Not just for your own safety, but for the safety of whatever is being shipped to you on behalf of other people. Can you imagine if I had a big old sale and I told y'all, hey guys, so somebody stole all the candle vessels? Y'all would burn me at the stake, right? Like, she's a content creator, which means all that stuff that she's getting is because she's contractually obligated to actually present a lot of it on camera. So you can't be on camera because there's an alarm going off and you have no AC. And then you can't even get your products because, yeah, I will say this. As of last week, she moved into a nice new place. And I moved right after her. So it's so funny that she's the one who convinced me to not move into a penthouse, and we ended up moving within 2 weeks of each other.
Is simply about holding the property accountable. I don't care if I was paying $20, $200, $2,000, or $20,000. Whatever is promised to you upon signing a lease should be maintained. When you sign a lease based on certain offerings, you have every right for that commitment to be upheld. When a tenant fulfills their end of the lease month to month, the bare minimum in return should be respect, honesty, and livable conditions. You can't demand accountability from residents while offering none yourself. I would like everyone to tag the National Dallas, repost this video, and
first of all, the fact that she's single-handedly destroying the National, because everybody's been talking about it since she posted this video. I fucking love that. Fuck you, Terry. Racism is interesting. I do think there is a bit of that because there was a week where I was flying to go see my mom and I had a lot of work on my plate. I think it was one of those weeks where Love Island was like popping and I had a lot of videos to do and my client calendar was booked to the gills and class was like in session. So between teaching class, taking client calls, and coming on live and breaking down all the shit, I was so exhausted that every luxury amenity I had was not a luxury. It was survival based. Even like BK always tells me, she's like, no, Blue, the way that you work, you being on Delta One so you can take a nap on a plane, that might be your only nap for the day. She's not wrong. There have been times where I've gotten off that plane and not been able to sleep for another like 20 hours until I get back into bed. So that week between the black car that picked me up, the Delta One attendants, I was getting white glove service everywhere I went. And there were a couple of times where I could tell the non-black service people felt away. This is not something that we talk about a lot because people always feel like you're flexing, but it's not though. It's something that it's a problem that I hope you all have access to at some point in life, right? But like when you are a black person who is in a white glove concierge kind of space, one or two things are going to happen. Number one, people are going to think you got a free upgrade. I think I mentioned a couple weeks ago how there was this really beautiful Latina attendant working at Delta, and she approached me like a little girl flying for the first time. Hey, do you want to know how the seatbelts work? I was like, I do this twice a month. I'm clear how they work. Can you actually get me a bourbon cream and coffee? Like, bitch, what are you doing? Mind you, the guy next to me, he wasn't talking to like he was a 12-year-old. So sometimes it'll be a person of color who assumes that you got a free upgrade. This is your little treat to yourself because this can't just be your lifestyle, right? Like you don't actually belong. You're clearly a visitor. And they think they're helping you make your visit a softer landing, but the assumption that you're visiting is already a little bit fucked up. Not saying there are people who don't get free upgrades, but to treat the only Black person in the entire cabin like that, racist. And then there are the white folks who just want to hit you with their purse. I don't feel like I have to elaborate on that second one.
And share any experience you have with this complex if you do have one. That way there's no misunderstandings with who this video is intended, as well as save as many people as possible from making the same mistake I did with believing their lies that are covered as luxuries. Speaking up isn't just about demanding what you deserve, it's about setting a standard for how people deserve to be treated. Silence only protects those who are in the wrong, and dignity, fairness, and integrity are not luxuries.
She's preaching. Dignity is not a luxury. It's the bare fucking minimum.
They're the basic.
These so-called luxury apartments got more rules than the girlies that do hair and their booking pages. It's getting out of hand. Okay. So the apartment that I live in is considered like a luxury apartments. So they sent an email, I believe last month.
You know, I've noticed when I fell down this rabbit hole, every time someone is talking about their luxury apartment and they feel compelled to make a video about how it's not there's this thing of my luxury apartment. It's almost like we're all in on the joke that luxury is just something you slap onto everything. I don't know what luxury. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. Having gray floorboards and plastic marble-like countertops does not luxury make. In fact, I became so jaded. I was almost convinced that I was not gonna find a place to live because I was like, now I hate everything. After watching all these videos and looking at all these places that are luxury, but they're actually really cheaply made and they're cash grabs. Now, like, I like actual luxury. This is pissing me off.
About, how can I say this without having it taken down? Like puff puff, you can't puff puff in your apartment. You can't puff puff on your balcony.
I'm saying right now, I have severe cramps that put me in bed for a week. If I need to smoke some weed and I'm paying you $10,000, you better buy some air freshener. That's another thing, Terry, I need to stop mentioning his name. He used to harass me. He's like, why do I smell smoke? I was like, that's incense. Mind your business. Mind you, I'm the only person who lives here, so there's no tenants to complain. I'm the only one who lives here. Who's complaining? But yeah, I think it's wild when people are in luxury apartments and they can't even smoke on their balcony. Their balcony. Like,
Now, it doesn't really affect me. I don't, puff puff. But if I did, I can only imagine how like crazy that would be that I cannot do it in my apartment, not even in the balcony. Now, I know it doesn't affect me because I don't do it, but just because it doesn't affect me doesn't mean that I don't think it's wild. Now, they do have like a designated puff puff area, like near the dumpsters that where like the garbage.
Wait, the people who smoke weed have to go to a dumpster near the garbage?
Come pick up and they leave like the dumpsters there. You can go puff puff there, but I can only imagine like if I want to do like a little puff puff at night, I have to leave to go outside, to risk my life for a little puff puff. It's a little crazy to me. Now they do have little other rules that I'm just like, you guys are doing too much. Like, if you have more than one car, husband and wife, whoop-de-doo, you got to pay extra $100 a month. If you need to put your bicycle somewhere, whoop-de-doo, you got to pay extra. It's just so many a la carte services. And you're paying so much money and there's just so many rules. And if you break the rules, you're technically violating your lease and then you will be responsible for the remainder of the lease or until they find somebody to rent your specific unit, which is it was just still crazy to me. Now, there are so many other rules. And I feel like also too, like the target audience are people who work in corporate or people who like influencers or something. Because if you work, for example, like Comcast or Xfinity and you have like a work truck, well, I'm sorry, you can't park your truck here. Okay. You can't park
By the way, I will say they do target influencers. The minute I had to put down what my profession was and I put writer, and then I was like, oh, but I'm also, I guess, technically a content creator now. So I put writer/content creator. This one lady, her eyes lit up in a way I was like, I know what you are.
no commercial vehicles, which is the rules, which I can totally understand, but I can only imagine if I was working at a company where I have to bring my work truck home, and I can't do that. Like, this is not the place for you. Now, you can only move in between 9 to 5. So they prefer you use a rental company, but if you don't use a rental company, then you essentially.
Wait, you can only move from 9 to 5? What if I want to move?
As soon as you move out, like you move in or move out, whatever, as soon as you move in, you have to go and, because I'm Haitian, you're technically violating your lease, and then you will be responsible for the.
I'm trying to fast forward past this girl because even though she seems sweet, she's
or you're gonna get.
Guys, I only watched the beginning of these videos to clip them up because I only had an hour. So if you see me skipping, it's because somebody's rambling.
Another fine. It's just so many rules, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, we pay so much to live here, and we're so restricted sometimes because they want the building to be aesthetics, which if
anybody asks, I am not breaking the no sugar thing. My cycle is over. I'm eating my vitamin gummies.
Fully get, but it's just a little bit too much.
Nurses get their first paychecks and want to get a luxury apartment and want to get a Mercedes. We already know the pros of having a luxury apartment. Now let me just talk about the cons. Now first, I think it's better to get, if you want a luxury apartment, get it in a place that has a lot of diversity. There's black people there. My experience, it was mostly white people.
Oh.
Now in the suburbs, it's less.
I'm from Boston, and I currently live in an area where 2 blocks over is Hancock Park, which is a very illustrious, very highfalutin place. And this is technically Koreatown, even though my friends keep telling me this is not Koreatown. And I'm used to being around a lot of Asian people, a lot of Spanish people, a lot of white people. I'm used to there being a mix. When I went to the house to go start moving stuff in, I looked across the way, and the house across the street from me was this white woman. Then I saw another white woman. And for a minute, I was like, it never occurred to me, are there any other black people who live in this area? And guys, do not judge me, but it's a gated community because safety, because fucking Terry. Because there's a gate, so you can't even get in our street unless you get through the gate first. I was like, I hope to God I did not end up in a gated community with nothing but white people. Because I don't want to be that girl who they're like, why is she always playing Afro beats? You know what I mean? Fortunately, yesterday, I saw a black man sitting on his porch, and I was so relieved. I said, whew. Well, I mean, he could be a horrible person, but at least I'm not the only one. But it's so funny. Never in my search did it. LA is so cosmopolitan. It never occurred to me to worry about racism. Like I guess that's kind of naive.
More affordable in the suburbs to live in a luxury apartment, but the cons is that it's mostly white people. And let me tell you why it was a con for me, or multiple cons. Firstly, it was a lot of racists. You have to deal with a lot of Trump supporters. You have to deal with the KKK in the middle of the night.
What, the KKK? Oh, she's probably from Miami. The minute you say Florida, got it. Okay, yeah, Florida is different.
Scared for your children and for yourself if you're a woman and a male. So basically, this black people is very racist. These white people do not want you there. You're just another black person. I don't care how much you balling, you just think you're the man. They do not want you there. They do not say hi to you, and if they do, they talking about you. They complaining to you about you to the leasing office. They're watching every little thing you're doing, and they're complaining because they want you out of there. I had people complain that after
First of all, I was offered a milkshake from Chick-fil-A this evening by an old man. I wasn't gonna tell him no. Roro, I'm not going to ask you why old men are offering you milkshakes. His milkshake brought you to the yard. I have so many questions. You guys have a rich life in the chat, and I sometimes feel left out because I'm too busy running the live. But my God, I need to know why an old man was offering you milkshakes.
I spilled bean sauce because I'm Haitian. I spilled it on the front of my door. It was like a line.
She said bean sauce because I'm Haitian. For those who don't know, bean sauce is called sauce pois. And it's, you know, it's just red beans or black beans. Just the sauce is really delicious. But why would you be concerned that I spilled some of my takeout on my own door? This doesn't make sense.
Oh, on my door. The door was brown. The bean sauce is brown. I spilt it on my door on the bottom. I cleaned up most of it, and I guess I forgot that one spot. I was cited because they complained to the leasing office. So I had a leasing violation for not cleaning up my door.
For bean sauce?
That was just one leasing violation. I had multiple.
No.
Just for small things like that.
Every time I see the dumbass luxury apartments, I'm like, you're selling niggas 800 square feet of bullshit. You're buying 800 square feet to literally sleep with the sound of the city serenading. Nigga, your white noise is the sound of me getting fucking beat up at a gas station at 2 a.m. And the amenities. We have a brand new gym, 2 pools. The whole time the gym is fucking a closet with free weights. And the pool is not being used because everybody's a fucking Karen.
I will say this: the places I looked, they did have really nice gyms, though. I will say that.
Like, you're making too much noise. You guys got to keep the splash level down. We're right near all of the shopping centers. You're smack dab next to a Whole Foods and a Trader Joe's, and I'm getting taxed for that because.
Now hold on now. Being next to a Whole Foods and Trader Joe's is a perk. I'm sorry. I can't pretend that's not. Sorry, no. That
you want to be near them. I don't care about being near Whole Foods. I do not care about a Target being built into the building. Target fucking sucks. I'm a Kroger's guy myself. I like Kroger's, man.
And I'm not even done complaining about these damn luxury apartment complexes. I just went on a tour of 4 different luxury apartments.
First of all, I don't know. Why does everybody do this? Have y'all noticed this? Maybe it's just me because I've been down a luxury apartment rabbit hole for the past 3 months. Everybody goes like this. Like nobody. I want to see a real luxury apartment. In fact, I think I might have one on my phone.
Complexes in a span of 3 days. And guess what they all got in common? Thin walls and thick price tags.
Before I leave New York City, I feel like I have to get in one of those luxury buildings. Like, I just have to have my dream of.
Raise your hand, be honest, we won't judge you. Raise your hand, be honest, we won't judge you. Have you ever said to yourself, just once in life, I want to live in a luxury apartment and or actually lived in one? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Up until today, have you ever wanted to or have actually lived in, which means you wanted to because you ended up there, a luxury apartment? Can we all just be honest? I see a bunch of yups and yeses and one no and some eyes. And somebody says, I live in one now. Somebody said yes twice. So can we be honest that despite the fact that there's a current scam going on, the reason why the scam is successful is because so many of us actually still want it. There are real luxury apartments. You will be paying about $7,500 and up. But most of them I'm seeing
apartment in New York City. Why is it that I cannot live across the water from the city with fake grass? I'll be able to walk my dog at night and not be scared. Have a gym, swimming pool, all of that in my building. Yeah, I need that. Like,
baby, y'all better stop letting these apartment complexes fool y'all into thinking that you are really about to live a life of luxury just because they labeled the apartment a luxury apartment. What is luxury about hearing somebody back getting broke out to the wall to the left? Somebody playing Stomp from Kirk Franklin upstairs like they on the damn set of Jumanji and the damn Stampede about to fall through the ceiling. Somebody to the right of you cooking curry goat, and now the damn hallway smell like old stale feet. What is the luxury of that?
First of all, why does he remind me of Dexter so much? Oh my God, Dexter, if you see this just made me miss you. He reminds me so much of my friend Dexter. Oh, by the way, since he reminds me of Dexter, again, we are still sponsored by ADHD. I want to shout out the 2 Sages in my life who just have birthdays. I know I posted both of these videos on my pages. I can't play the Dexters. Go watch Dexter because I think I'm Every Woman is playing. No, I didn't get flack from it, actually. Let me see if I can play Dexter's video. I don't know why I didn't think of this before, but I'm going to play Dexter's, and then Tidra. So Tidra Moses, of course you guys know who Tidra Moses is, and Dexter Mayfield, our good friend Dexter, both had birthdays, and it's so funny how when you have a friend who has a birthday and you're moving, there's always that feeling of, if they're throwing something, I want to be there for their birthday, because I'm very much I want to be there for your birthday kind of girl. But also, like, I haven't slept in like 4 days. And so I met up with a friend, Michelle, for dinner, and we dropped by to see Dexter afterwards. And it was so lovely. We were only there for like maybe 90 minutes, 2 hours tops, but it was so lovely. So for those of you out there who have a friend who is celebrating something, if you don't have the bandwidth, ask yourself, can I give a good 90 minutes? Can I give a good 90 minutes? And of course, Tidra, so funny, Tidra and Estelle are going to be at the Howard Theater in DC. Estelle hit me up today about me and my sister going, and my sister's going to be traveling, and I'm just burnt out. I'm burnt out, but I'm going to sit here for Christmas. So I just want to shout out my friends. I'm sure this
You shake your titties. Happy birthday to you. Yes.
If you're a Tidra Moses fan, guys, please go to her page and wish her happy birthday. Tell her Blue sent you. If you are a Dexter Mayfield fan, please go tell my Dex. Y'all know I love Dex. For those who I want to know who Dexter is, if you haven't seen him already, he's kind of a big deal. But go look at my shorts. I've been posting shorts more because I feel like it's like a cute little touch point when I don't have time to do videos. Okay, enough. This guy just reminded me so much of Dexter. I had to go on that little tangent.
Well, they got a gym. Yes. If the gym be full of damn people, you can never get in there.
That's true.
Well, they got security. Well, then how is it that my damn packages keep coming up missing? So what exactly is the luxury is what I'm trying to... Is it the price? Yeah. Because my God, today, some of y'all are out here paying $2,300, $2,600 for an apartment.
Every time y'all say shit like this, my body shuts down. The fact that people are freaking out over $2,600, and I know that $2,600 in LA is a very down-to-earth one-bedroom in an alright neighborhood. Again, I'm going to say this because I feel like I say this at least once a year. Economists have confirmed for like the 10th year in a row. So this is not opinion. This is a statistical fact. This is just data. 100K in LA and New York is 50K everywhere else. So when y'all say 2,600 is a lot, your 2,600 is like 13. Okay. Imagine you're saying 13 instead. We get 50 cents on the dollar living in Los Angeles and New York. So if you have a friend who makes 80K and you make 120, she actually makes more than you. If you live in LA and New York. Just want to point that out. So when he's saying 23, I'm having to tell myself that it's 46. And then suddenly it makes sense. For any LA and New York folks, we're like, why are they complaining about these prices? Double them and see if it makes sense. Double them, okay?
With no real sense of privacy. So I just want to know what is the luxury?
Folks, the landlords built these apartment buildings and they are sitting empty. Rents are as much as $3,200 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment, and there's almost 100 units available.
Oh my God, these prices are making me feel like I need to leave LA. 3,200 is not okay. 3,200 is a lot in most of America. Just not where I live.
This is a trend that we've seen across the U.S. rental market since the pandemic. It's a luxury rental market downturn because during the pandemic, these apartment developers built a lot of these luxury skyline apartments, and now they're struggling to find renters. The typical rent in these apartment buildings in downtown Nashville goes for around $1,500 to $3,500 a month.
No, it's a lot. I just have to, we just get stuck with way more. That's all. It is a lot. We just get stuck with way more. So part of me is just like, oh man, I love LA so much. I don't see myself leaving. I'm thriving out here. It just sucks that I live in a place where rent is so much higher than everywhere else in America.
Month, which is a hefty chunk of the 87,000 median household income of the area's residents. The result is a lot of empty luxury apartments and a lot of these landlords giving massive concessions, as much as 3 months free rent. And according to The Real Deal, Nashville has over 4,300 vacant apartments in its downtown.
No, I don't. I work on the internet, love. I work remotely. They don't pay me more. Somebody doing exactly what I do would get paid the same thing if they lived in Nashville. So no, I don't get paid more. I work on the internet.
Town area, and they're still building, everyone. However, the area with the biggest rent cuts right now is Austin, Texas. Rents in Austin are down almost 20% from peak, and now the rent to income ratio in Austin is one of the cheapest in America.
So while Dallas is charging $10,000 for penthouses, which is a New York, LA price, Austin is just giving away housing. If there's anybody in Texas who's not scared of the weird energy in Austin.
I'm officially moving out of my luxury apartment in Houston, Texas. I'm going to show you all the things that I hated about it and the fact that it was $3,200 for a one bedroom.
Am I the only person who likes seeing people show off their apartments? I personally had a conversation with myself that I'm not going to show off any part of my home aside from the kitchen and living room area, and my office, because those are probably the 3 places where I'm going to be filming lives once my Wi-Fi and everything is set up. But I don't see myself doing a tour of my home for safety reasons, right? There's a influencer who she moved out of her 2-bedroom in New York and said, now that I'm moving out, I'm going to do a tour. Do you know somebody the very next day said, oh, you're paying all that money for a place that you got put out because the landlord is selling it? They looked up the court records. They recognized something about her view, recognized the building, and went and looked up the court records of her apartment. Now, what if she hadn't waited until after she moved to post that? So I'm not a fan of home tours in homes that you still live in on the internet. And we're going to do more content around that now that I'm moving. And so moving and decor is something that I'm so passionate about decor. My friends know how passionate I am about decor. I'm having to struggle with wanting to share things that I love, but also wanting to be safe. And so I am getting window film, privacy film put on all my windows before I show you guys any of the rooms. You won't be able to see outside my window. And so you have to recognize if there's anybody out there who's into content creation and just likes to share online, please be careful. There's whole pages of folks who make it their shtick that they can find any building in the country just based on your view outside your window.
First floor. Let me show you all the stuff I hated. I absolutely hated that somebody would design this to not come all the way out. It was very, very stupid for me. To just see that, it was very, very dumb. I hated that they put this amazing patio here, but they didn't include any type of coverings for it. So
wait, that's not the street? Her patio looks like just the street. She's on the first floor with the patio. That's a parking lot, y'all. That's a gated parking lot. Girl, that's not a okay.
I had to install panels, grass panels for myself. So if you lived in this unit, you would see the valet, you'd see all this stuff, and then people can see directly in here. And I asked them to install tent or something and they wouldn't do it, but you could see directly in the apartment from outside if you're outdoors, which was insanely annoying. The other thing that I hated, because it's a so-called luxury apartment, it came with no light fixture.
Salaries are higher. It's not comparable. So that's been demystified. If you have a job in New York and a job in LA and a similar job in, let's say, Atlanta, the amount that your cost of living is higher than those in Atlanta is not proportional to how much more they're paying you. It's not equitable. That's also a myth, guys. I'm telling you, economists have said 100K in LA is 50K everywhere else. That can only exist if the cost of living and the wages are not matching up, right? Because if the wages match the cost of living, then the disparity wouldn't be so steep. So no, guys, people in this country, unfortunately, I think it's been announced maybe last week that every single state in this country as of this year, their minimum wage is not enough for somebody to live and survive in every state.
So if you ever came to my apartment, I had a chandelier hanging here that I had installed. No light fixtures came in this apartment though. So even when you come in the bedroom, they have the setup.
Wait, there's no light fixtures. What do you mean? Okay, it was bad enough when the girl didn't have no heat or no AC and was breathing in thick, milky air. Now this bitch is sitting in the dark. Y'all.
For it, and they have a ceiling fan. It's no light bulb. You have to pay extra apparently to get a light, a fixture with a light. Very insane. I also did not like the closet at all. This was very like constricting to me because it just wasn't the best use of space. And I also didn't like that the electrical stuff was in here. It was a very nice size.
Her electrical stuff is in the closet. Oh my God. Guys, this don't look luxury. I'm a picky bitch. I'm gonna shut up.
Bedroom though. I almost forgot my ladder. I would have been very upset. Let me bring that with me. The other thing that I didn't like, because I was right outside of the main entrance, is that you can hear.
Okay, so that is a parking garage. Girl, your patio is parking. If your luxury apartment is on the first floor, by the way, guys, there's no luxury on the first floor. It's not a thing. Sorry. But if you're on the first floor, right outside the front door, and your patio is parking lots that they put a gate around and called it your patio, honey, that's where the maintenance man used to live before he quit. That's the super's apartment. Y'all hear the word luxury and everything just goes out the window, child.
All of the traffic from the hallway if you're right here. Like anytime the door closes, any of that, you could hear everything, which is annoying.
Unless you're the super. It's annoying unless that's employee housing that they somehow convinced you was luxury. Oh, poor baby.
This other thing goes for the entire apartment, but it's something that I check when I'm looking at homes, when I'm looking at anything now. The freaking water pressure is so bad here. Like when I say horrible, it is horrible.
Wait, so you're sitting in the dark and you can't wash your ass properly. Okay, guys, I'm so happy I didn't watch these clips before. I enjoy watching them with you, but my God. I might owe Terry an apology because they ain't never been this bad.
But the location was lit. Apparently, this is where the hot girls in Houston stay. I didn't know that.
Houston, is this where you put your hot girls? Houston, is she right? Can somebody from Houston confirm? Is this building indeed where the hot girls of Houston? Houston, I expected more from you. This can't be true.
Nobody that was like black really lived here when I moved in 2 years ago. But now, like, this is where the hot girls are staying. I'm jumping ship. But this is apparently where the hot girls be at.
In honor of me about to move out of my apartment in like 1 month, let me de-influence you on getting an apartment. First, let me say I enjoyed my time. My first apartment ever by myself was a luxury apartment. So like that sense, it was amazing. I have a pool, I have a pet spa, I have an indoor-outdoor gym. I have a lot of crazy stuff. But the one thing I realized is most of my life went into paying my rent. Before I got an apartment, I was already paying a car note, car insurance, my phone bill, all the apps and Netflix and all that stuff that I have, which at the time was like so under my means that I didn't even think about paying those bills. Like they were so calm. But then I added on rent, gas and electric, and then I started thinking about bills. But like I said, I have 2 months left, so I did the bill stuff. That's not the craziest part. Just that was one of the reasons I'll de-influence you on that. Secondly, once you get into an apartment, there is a sort of comfortability, I will say, I fell into that I never want to fall into again. Some days I wake up and I literally don't utter a word. It's like an insane asylum, but like not in the
I will say that when I was in that penthouse, I didn't leave the entire time I was there. The idea of having to go down 58 floors to get back downstairs, I was like, it's too much. In my current house that I'm moving into, it's 3 floors. I'm not even gonna hold y'all. I was on the 3rd floor taking a nap while the painter was working downstairs. I briefly considered, I was like, wait, there's 2 bathrooms and snacks up here. I could just text him to lock up when he leaves. Like, I don't have to go back down there. Like, I've already told my friends that the top floor is my private area and y'all could do whatever y'all do downstairs. And so think about that times 60, right? Think about you on the 60th, or in Crystal's case, the 48th floor. It makes you antisocial, or it makes it tricky to get yourself out of bed sometimes. And that's something that I noticed that I also didn't like when I was there.
I don't know how to explain it. It's just like some days I wake up and I literally have nothing to say. Hearing noise when you're at home is so different than hearing noise when you're in an apartment, because when you hear noise, it's like your neighbor snoring or your upstairs neighbors freaking tap dancing on the roof. You know what I'm saying? Like, the noise is just different because you know that you can't tell them, can you stop or can you shut up or whatever. Like, it's you now you got to go complain to the leasing office, and then you look like a snitch. I've never complained my 13 months of being here. Now I have a fear of talking in here. Like, I come to my room a lot to talk because when I'm in my bedroom or my living room, they can hear me in the hallway.
Guys, I've never been so happy to have been talked out of something. So let me get this straight. We're keeping a list of all the things that happen in luxury housing. I'm not even calling it an apartment. I'm calling it housing because it's starting to give projects. No shades of projects. It just sounds very similar to one. You sit in the dark. You got to run down 60 flights of stairs because fire alarms go off all the time. You can't breathe because there's no AC. And now you can't talk because of the paper thin walls that if you cough in your living room, somebody in the hallway will say, God bless you. When Bridget was like, I don't want you to move. I don't want you to leave here. I love the privacy of you living in this house. I see why she was scared, because she's probably experienced other people's buildings and was worried that I was going to end up in a building like that. I don't like people enough for that. That's why I ended up in a standalone house, because everything she's saying is my worst nightmare.
Hate that. Maybe it's just the makeup of this apartment, but like, I've been in other people's apartments and they're like, oh yeah, like I can hear my neighbors do da 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 in their living room. Oh heck no. Y'all got it. Y'all got this. Like, if I'm talking at home, I don't mind my mom hearing me, what I'm saying, my siblings hearing what I'm saying, but like them, I don't know y'all. I don't want y'all listening in on my conversations.
Oh, and you can't wash your ass. Y'all don't understand. I'm a shower girly. Like, showers are part of my mental health regime. Like, I will take a long shower and have me a good old cleansing cry, or just like plot on world domination in that shower. The idea of it feeling like somebody's spitting at me through a window while I'm washing my ass, that alone makes me want to, ugh.
It's weird. I have less wiggle room to travel because I'm always paying bills. And I would just say possibly because I got an apartment in a small town. It's not the same as like getting an apartment in LA or New York and like you paying bills towards something. I don't know. I just know I don't want to sign another lease I don't want to sign another lease. Like, hopefully my husband is the next person to sign a lease, or like I'm signing a lease on a business venture, but I don't want to pay for anything else that's not paying me back. You know, people get in apartments and they're like, oh, you know.
Can I be honest? I'm going to miss my rent. I'm going to miss my rent the way you miss a friend. Well, no, I think I fast forwarded too much. I remember telling my friends, I was like, my rent right now is the lowest it will probably ever be in my adult life. So I'm going to miss it. Now I'm paying like regular prices, and that shit sucks. Well, let me not say it sucks. God, I'm not ungrateful. Please don't smite me. I feel like the spirit guys are always listening to me. I'm very grateful. It's just that I'm going to be a lot more responsible and have a lot less Postmates in my life now that I moved to this new place.
On a lease, or like I'm signing a lease on a business venture, but I don't want to pay for anything else that's not paying me back. You know, people get in apartments and they're like, oh, you know, this paid me back because I'm an influencer. I have mentally just not been there ever since I got this apartment. So I'm so excited to leave.
Fuck a luxury apartment. Hi from my new apartment, by the way. Still moving in. I know I look crazy. We're going to ignore that. But just want to say a couple things pertaining to my last video. Fuck a luxury apartment. Y'all can throw that word in front of the apartment all the fuck you want to. Right? I'm not falling for it no more. What's luxurious about these apartments, y'all? The granite tops. Life gets a little bit more luxurious than granite tops. And really my whole point of my last video was, if you gonna advertise all these fucking amenities, just make them work. We paying a lot of money to live here. Like,
no, can we be honest that nobody uses the amenities? When I went to go look at that space down the street. She walked me around every square inch of the amenities, and I think I saw like 3 people. She's like, and here's our double swing pool. Mind you, they actually had great amenities. The gym was dope. The pool was amazing. Nobody there. And then I think about it. When I stay at the hotel that I stay at when I go to Boston, I miss the free breakfast a lot. So if I can't even make it to free breakfast, just saying.
Can that go towards making sure these amenities work? Like I'm out the dog parks, never cleaning up the shit for months on end. Parking garages getting advertised as an amenity, but you got the garage propped open that anybody can come in. People shit getting broken into, mine. People shit getting towed out of there, mine, for no reason. Gyms that are as big as our closets with this basic ass equipment. I could probably get a more intense workout at a fucking nursing home.
I feel like as someone who lived in apartments a lot growing up because I moved around a lot, one of the main distinctions from an apartment that was market.
Oh, I know this girl. I picked this girl because she seemed to be saying that she actually experienced a true luxury apartment. And I want to hear what an actual luxury apartment experience
is luxury, sorry, versus an actual luxury apartment was definitely the apartments that would host social events. And I remember when I lived on Miami Beach, I lived in this apartment building called the Flamingo. Back then, when I lived there, it was insane. Like when I tell you they would have runway models at the pool, walking on the pool, like they had different vendors come. You had to have a wristband to get in, even if you were a resident. They would have, I used to see Shaq there all the time. We would have celebrities come to the events because they were so well known for the events that they would host. We used to have artists come exhibit their work, and we had like an art gallery in the building, and every month we would have a different artist who would like put their art out.
What building is this? That shit sounds okay. See, that sounds like a luxury experience.
For the month, and you could purchase it obviously. And there was just so many different events, like basketball games they would have. There was like rooftop, they had rooftop courts, and there was just always something happening there. And I feel like that's really what made it luxury. Like it wasn't even the amenities. Like yes, there was a pool, like I said, there was a basketball court, there was all these things, but what really made it special was the events. Like I used to enjoy them so much as a kid because I would just meet so many people. My parents would meet a lot of people. We got to meet everyone in the building, try new food in the area. I feel like that's really what distinguishes a nice luxury.
What year was this, baby? Because I feel like this is pre-apocalypse. My bad. Was that a Freudian slip? I feel like this was pre-pandemic, of course, because she was a child. Do y'all think it's still possible under 5 figures? I think that the bar has shifted, right? Perfect example. When I was painting my house today, I used this really great brand of paint that I've been using for every home that I've had for like the past like 10, 15 years. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's thicker. It's a nice coat. And I asked the painter, who was very slow, but very meticulous. I said, so that's good paint, right? And he said it used to be, but now it's gotten so popular because it was good paint and it was affordable. They've moved the goalpost and now they've put a level of paint above it and cheapened the quality of this brand now. And I'm looking at him like, nigga, I spent $300 on this paint. What you mean? He was like, yeah, this paint used to be a great deal, but because it's popular, they've cheapened the quality of this paint and gave that quality to the next echelon of paint. I feel like that's what's happening with luxury apartments. I feel like back in the day, luxury apartments were so not normalized and it was considered such a luxury, right? Because luxury apartments were actually a luxury. I think they did have all these great amenities that she's talking about, but because of TikTok and social media and Instagram and YouTube and whole influencers whose entire brand is just talking about their luxury apartment, the desire for luxury apartments has skyrocketed so much, just like BBLs, that it's cheapened it, right? And so now luxury apartments are the new projects. That's just my opinion. Luxury apartments, I keep on wanting to say projects. Luxury apartments are turning into mass-produced housing, which is quite literally what we call the projects. I just work here.
I just paid my rent. So this weekend, I will be enjoying every wall in this apartment. Every room will be enjoyed.
This is about to be me in January. As soon as I come home from the holidays, I'm not doing shit but enjoying my house for January, February. Honestly, I might not leave until April with my birthday month. I want I'm not going to tell you how much my rent is. Just say my rent is almost double my mortgage in Boston. And we'll get into why I chose what I chose, but this video is already explaining it. I realized I can't do a luxury apartment because let's say $5K in a luxury apartment building is staring at a wall. And I was like, well, if I was willing to pay 46 for some bullshit, what if I find something that's more expensive than what I hope for, but gives me way more than what that bullshit 46 would have given me at that penthouse? And so I think I found a way to justify it to myself. I will say this, though. There's a thing called lifestyle inflation. When people start making more money, their lifestyle inflates exponentially. The only thing in my life that is inflating right now is this house. I think a lot of people need to be thinking about, what did I start this live saying? A savings account, guys. A savings account. Not just what can I afford and squeak by and borrow $10 from my cousin for some Postmates. No, you can't be eating Taco Bell every night. What can you afford and still have a savings?
I will be just sitting here in amazement of my apartment, baby.
The 2-bed, 1-bath industrial / loft style apartment.
Okay, yes, and my house in Boston is a 9,000 square foot lot. 9,000 square feet. There's space for me to put a whole other house. My townhouse in LA is 2,000 square feet. So the fact that I'm paying almost double for less than a quarter, I'm sorry, ain't no math for that shit. It ain't funny.
And that I live in is cheaper than studios people live in, just to say they live in an amenity building or a high rise. Living in a high rise / amenity building is so overrated, especially if you can only afford a studio. Go get a walk up in a 3-4 flat, and it's gonna.
Why he kind of cute, but why his titties out? Why his titties out? Am I the only person distracted? Why did I put this video in here? Was I on something? Okay, sorry. I didn't hear a word he just said. Let me focus. Y'all can tell me what I missed. All right.
Maximize your dollars and maximize your space. That's just my personal opinion. Has nothing to do with anybody else, but I have never lived in a high-rise building in my life. So once I got downtown, I said, let me emulate something that reminds me of home.
Y'all know me so well. My type is 90s fine chocolate niggas. I'll do a 90s fine light skin one if he likes to tan. Y'all know I like black skin, right? But yeah, what he's talking about, I don't know what this video is talking about, y'all. I'm just gonna watch along with y'all.
This is such a cozy home. Mid-century modern is everything to me. I just moved into my new place a few weeks ago, and I'm ordering a lot of things that is gonna make it look like this.
My home is gonna be mid-century modern, so we have similar decor types. That's nice.
You could find plenty of phenomenal walk-ups, 1 bed, 2 beds, etc., for the same price or cheaper as a studio. And it gives you more room to work, more culture for your home, because everything in an amenity building feels exactly the same. Some people move into amenity buildings for that sense of security, so that makes sense. But if you're trying to maximize your dollar, go find a nice deal in a walk-up. There's plenty of them out there, because a lot of people also only want to live in high-rises to impress somebody, but they're hitting you over the head on the rent for 350 to 400 square feet. Doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't know what this man just said, but I agree.
So I was scrolling past my social media and I seen somebody post saying that I can't believe somebody got unalived in my luxury apartment building that I live in.
Oh, wait. So, wait, whoa. Okay. I don't remember this one. Somebody got unalived? Okay. I thought eating in the dark and shitting in the dark and a parking lot being your patio was a lot. Okay. Now they're just shooting niggas. Okay, wow. I feel like I might have de-influenced y'all out of somebody said I like them. I like fine nerds. Yeah, I like attractive. You could tell he smell good. I like nerds who can put that shit on. But I also have gotten my back cracked by a bunch of street niggas. So I mean.
So what people fail to understand, and this is a very hot take, not everybody deserves to live in a luxury apartment, but they're making it so that you have to live in there because that's the only option sometimes. And with that being said, you will have some people that live in those apartments that are not right in the head. Because
Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now, if any of my neighbors here's the thing about being in a gated mini community, and I'm saying a gated community, but it's only like maybe 24 houses. Oh, that is a gated community, bitch. Okay, never mind. I'm in denial. But like, I hope to God I have lovely neighbors. I love the fact that this is a new build and that 4 of the houses around me are still being built. So they're currently just bones. I hope that over the next year of this lease, I get to watch who all is coming to look at the places. And I get to just sit there so they can see me and I can see them and we can see each other. And that can influence if they still want to live there. I'm gonna be honest. I like that I got in early. I like that the building just got built 2 minutes ago and that I get to watch who all's gonna come over because I'm gonna do some protection magic around my house. That just reminded me, I need to light. So whenever people move into a new home, I always say to light a clarity and peace. I need to do a clarity and peace and a protection candle for my new house. If I forget, please remind me when we come back from Christmas because I'm leaving on Friday and I'm gonna be gone until I come back on Christmas. So keep me posted.
don't forget, everyone has to have a place to live. And I'm going to say the reason why they get to live in there is because of Section 8, not because they have a...
Section 8, I forgot about that. Oh, I'm not judging it, but it is clarifying. Oh, that's true because most buildings and high rises will have some sort, well, at least when I live in New York, I don't know about LA, will have some sort of housing that is like, I think mandated to be restricted for affordable housing units. Got it.
Decent set job to be able to afford that type of apartment. Like, just imagine paying above $2,500 for an
I don't like the word deserve either. I don't like the word deserve either. I'm happy you pointed
apartment, and it's kind of like the projects. That's crazy.
I really wish I could pin this comment on my original video because this is one of the main issues with these newer build luxury style apartments.
Hold on, let me look at the comment. Let me make this bigger. The comment says, older converted apartments are so much worth for the money and less than luxury apartment. Walls and the floor are concrete, so I hear nothing. That is true. One thing I will say is because when you move into a new place and it's empty because no furniture has been moved in yet, because it's going to be like another week before they bring my furniture over, empty apartments are very echoey and loud because there's no insulation, right? I just learned this a couple of years ago. When you have a thick carpet, that creates a sound barrier that helps with absorbing sound on the floor. When you have thick drapes, and I'm about to have some velvet drapes. Oh, my living room is going to be so sexy and luxurious. I want velvet drapes, not just because they feel sexy and luxurious, but also because they cancel out noise because they're thick. So think about the fabric of your couch. Think about what you're going to have on your walls. Think about the rug on the floor. Because I'm going to be doing so much content in the new house, I've started looking into sound cancellation and soundproofing drapes and wall fixtures and etc. Because I don't want to be in a space where, like in this house, what happens at least once alive? It hasn't happened today because it probably happened before live. The cats in my neighborhood are in heat. So at least once alive, I have to pause and try to play it off like I'm not hearing a bunch of cats fucking outside my window. This has been happening for about a couple of months. Y'all have seen me be like, hold on, the cats are fucking. I'm looking forward to not having to hear cat sex during one of our lives. I think I heard an orgy right before we got started. No more cat orgies. So I do like this comment about older builds have concrete walls. Because I don't know if you've heard what it sounds like when a cat's in heat. It is very feral. Oh, no. Oh, God, I think they can hear me. Yeah, it's time to go.
Homes, because why is it I can hear my neighbors breathe as I'm walking down the hallway? Why can I hear them breathe? Why can I hear their full conversation that they're having in their living room every single time I walk down the hallway? I should not be that much in my neighbor's business, ever. Even down to how the noise carries from the people who live above you.
Can you imagine if I did not live in a house and I had people living around me who were listening to all of our lives? Oh God.
I'm now on the 3rd floor. I lived on the 5th in my previous apartment, which is like the top floor where I was at. But the way you couldn't tell me I'm on the 3rd floor because I ain't heard nothing. I don't know if anybody lived there because I ain't heard nothing. And then I see some of y'all in the comments talking about it's either I go luxury or it's roaches or I risk my safety. Honey, it's Atlanta. Well, I live in Atlanta personally. And baby, some of the nicest sides of town and nicest apartments and properties deal with the highest rates of crime. And you need to open your mind if it's...
She's right. In Atlanta, I have a friend who moved from, shout out to Dr. K. She said she moved from Miami, but she was living in Atlanta for a little bit. And she was in one of those luxury buildings where there's like a lot of influencers. It's really shishi. And somebody used a card scanner on her purse for her credit card on the elevator. Another tenant. I'm up here worried about getting robbed from strangers. She's saying in an ATL, you can get robbed by your own fucking neighbors. That's wild.
It's non-luxury and that automatically means roaches to you.
So, excuse a little mess, but I just want to tell you how much I absolutely love my apartment. Like, I have an amazing loft, right? Everything about it.
I do not like lofts because of the noise. I need walls that go to the ceilings and privacy. I think lofts are gorgeous, but living wise, they are my literal nightmare. The idea of having no walls that hit the ceiling, so everything I say, every fart I make, every nigga I bring over, you can hear from the living room. No, that sounds like literal hell to me. They're pretty though, but I could not live in a loft.
My bed is not made up, but there you go. Everything, the bathroom is spectacular, but everything about it is amazing. The view I have from my balcony is great until this. So until I go and take my trash.
Wait, that's her hallway? That looks very industrial.
Out to the trash dump.
Wait, is this luxury?
It's in the building, but check.
By the way, guys, if this looks like your building, I'm not judging. It's just that we're talking about luxury and this looks normal. So I'm not judging. It's just, but it is loft. So lofts can be industrial. So let's give her some, okay.
I'm cool until I get onto this fucking prison yard. Like,
oh, no, that's a prison.
Interior.
No, that's a jail. Ma'am, you live in Rikers. That is not a loft. That is cell 13B to 13F. Bitch, what? They got y'all paying $3,000 and up a month for penitentiary style projects. I'm waiting for a forklift to drive by or for somebody to get shanked on the bridge. This is bizarre, y'all. This is not, I gasped. This is, Why she shared, friend? I don't want to judge. I'm not judging. I'm perceiving. I'm not judging. I am perceiving. I am perceiving that orange is the new black, and I'm waiting for Crazy Eyes to come out and actually be her girlfriend. Because what in the entire fuck is this? And I knew something was wrong when she said 3rd and 5th floor. The 5th floor is not the highest floor in the luxury apartment. Again, let me shut up, child.
Of my loft is a fucking prison yard. I hate it. And then we come back to perfection.
Now I'm judging. Y'all need to stop.
A question for Kelly.
So now we've seen how I was de-influenced, and hopefully I've de-influenced you into not spending the entirety of my income on an apartment where I have nothing left over for food or like air, right? But now I was asking myself, well, what is the answer? What are people doing? Because if I making decent money and struggling, by the way, guys, I need to point this out because a lot of influencers lie. There are influencers who are filthy rich who pretend that they're broke so they can be relatable. There are influencers who are broke as fuck who pretend that they're rich so they can be aspirational. I am neither. So if that makes me unrelatable, I'm cool. I'm chilling. I'm not rich and I'm not broke. I know that people like to do both extremes to like get clicks. I'm a regular bitch who's busting her ass and paying her bills and taking care of her family. So a lot of times, because I know the economy is bad and I'm somewhere in the middle, I don't even think middle class is still a thing in America, to be honest. But like, I wonder about people who are broke. People who are rich don't give a fuck. But, well, some of them do. But for people who are like, who I was a couple of years ago when I was in between blessings, as the kids would say, I remember at the time I was industrious and I was renting out rooms and I had gigs and I've always had more than one job because I had a job playing my face in 2011 and never fucking again while I put my entire income on one person's back. But like, because I'm a little, I'm a Gemini rising and a Taurus. Like, for those who believe in astrology, Tauruses are hard workers and Geminis are quick on pivoting. So, I'm a slippery bitch. I'm always find a way to make a coin. But for people who are like doing it the right way, the old school way of you get a job, you get you a little 401k, you wait for your 20-year anniversary so they can buy you a cake and give you a little fruit basket, whatever. I worry for those people. I also worry for my ilk of content creators and working class creatives, which is what I call it. I'm a working class creative who have a nice little stream of income. But what if something wild happens? Because we're self-employed, right? So the girls who are self-employed might make more, but they have no guarantees. And the girls who have guarantees are not making enough. It kind of feels like everybody's low-key fucked. And so this next montage of compilation of videos is people ruminating on that same thing. Like, what now? If I can't afford a luxury apartment, but a non-luxury apartment feels like it might be the ghetto, but so is a luxury apartment. Where the fuck do I go?
Californians, how do you live here? I'm in Los Angeles. The average house for half of the city is at least $1 million. If you own a house, are you telling me the average person is making $300K a year? If you're not owning
By the way, that's what I did. I rented a house. Spoiler alert, rent a house.
And you are among the poorer side of society, how the fuck do you afford everything?
So I just got home from touring an apartment, and this whole drive home, I have been stewing with anger because between the time I signed up for that tour a week ago and the time I got there to do the tour today, the price of the unit I was interested in has gone up by $300.
Oh, hell nah. Nope. Oh, this is one thing you're gonna learn about me. I'm not cheap, but don't quote me a number and then change it to something higher. It could be $10. I'm gonna get mad. It might be the most Taurus earth sign thing about me. My apartment, keep on forgetting to say house. My house, there was 2 listings. One for some reason was $100 more, and one was mine. Of course, I'm gonna pick the one who was $100 less. It just so happens the one that was $100 less. Me and Bridget both looked at it. We're like, no, this is much better. So I don't know why the better apartment was $100 less expensive. When they sent me the lease, they accidentally put in the other apartment's price with $100 more. Do you know I sat there and redid all the math? I said, oh, honey, no. I know you saw my income, so you think I don't care about money. I care. I got big bills. You're $100 off, and I sent him all the new math. Shout out to Jonathan if he's watching this. I sent them all the new math. I freaked out over $100 being added to my already impactful rent. $300? I'm burning the whole fucking management company. Like, what are you doing? Like, you said $300 is crazy. $300 is enough for you to, what's 300 times 12? 3,600? That's a whole other month of rent in some places. Nope.
$300 in a week. And I no longer qualify for the unit at all because it went up by $300 in a week. And they were talking about, well, the supply and the demand. The supply and the demand. That's why it went up. They skyrocketed over the last week because of the supply and the demand. What are these landlords going to do? These property management companies, because it's not even necessarily like individual landlords, it's these property management companies. What are they going to do when nobody can afford to live in their apartment complexes? What are they going to do when nobody can afford to live in their building?
Yeah.
Because this place is also requiring 3 times the rent in income. I have a degree and a salaried job, and I don't make that. There's no reason why any person with a college degree and a salaried job should not be able to qualify for like a basic apartment. Any basic apartment. And I'm going to tell you something. I work in housing, okay? I work at a nonprofit that houses homeless families. I work with homeless families with children. And every single day, I see the consequences of this. I have a client that brings in $4,000 a month. And
hey, she works with the homeless. So guys, for those of you who are new here, whenever I'm doing these kind of compilation videos, and so I can like make enough money to pay for an editor, which is no time soon, I'll watch the very beginning of the video and then like watch the end to make sure nothing crazy happens. But I'll intentionally not watch the middle because I want to experience it with you. I think it's bizarre that she's saying she works with the homeless, and yet one of her clients makes $4,000 a month. I know I joke about the cost of living in LA. It's not a joke. It's really, but even in LA, you could still rent a room. I have a friend who has a studio downtown for like 1,800, and is it the best neighborhood? I mean, it's downtown LA. What do you expect? But like 4,000 and being homeless feels wild to me.
Is homeless. They bring in $4,000 a month through their job, and they are homeless because of the price of these apartments, because of the income requirements. I see every day these people going to look at apartments, applying for apartments, and getting priced out by the time they can fill out the application, priced out between the time they tour the apartment and apply, priced out between the time they see the apartment and when they apply, and sometimes it's one day and they're priced out. Some of these people have evictions. I don't give a fuck what you think about evictions. You can have...
No, San Francisco, I don't even visit that. I can't even afford to visit her. The prices in San Francisco, because of Silicon Valley and all the tech bros, is ridiculous. Like, I don't even consider San Francisco a real place. To me, San Francisco is the Hunger Games, okay? It's like District 12. That's not even a real place.
Have an eviction from 6 years ago, good fucking luck. You're homeless. You're homeless because you got evicted once 6 years ago because you lost your job. I see people dealing with the consequences of unfair and illegal evictions. People who are homeless because they were a stay-at-home mom and their husband died.
Oh, that's painful. Somebody said, welcome, by the way. This is heavy, and this is very issue affects Black people in this country disproportionately. Yeah, guys, remember I said earlier, I know we usually just talk about pop culture. I want us to be having these conversations because we're living in history. We're living in history. There are things that are happening that are unprecedented. Even if they've happened before, they never happened quite like this. And so I just feel like there are too many smart people in this community for us not to be having these conversations. And also, please tell me if I'm the odd bird out here. I find it cathartic when I'm worried about a topic like housing or financial literacy, and a content creator that I enjoy just sits down and has an honest, bare bones conversation about it. I don't know about you, but I've always found that so cathartic, so helpful, so therapeutic. And so what did I say? This entire Christmas season about me pouring back into y'all the way other content creators poured back into me before my YouTube took off. And so I was like, what's one of the things that I used to always binge during the holidays? And it would be people talking about working through their finances. And so if you are in here, yes, it's heavy. Completely agree. And though, I hope it's a reminder that you're not alone and that there are people who are going through the same thing. And maybe in the chat, because there's some really great conversations happening in the chat, you might see something that inspires you to think of an innovative way for you to move. Perfect example. Can I be honest? Now that I'm moving, I've decided that I want to try to phase into being more of a minimalist. I have way more stuff than I use. I don't actually consume a lot, but I acquire a lot because I'm so used to being ready for every emergency. Part of my 2026 is to see how streamlined I can keep my apartment. Sorry, my house. I keep forgetting I got a house. I think I'm still in denial. So I don't want to fill every corner of my house with something. So I want my house to feel cozy and lush and textured, sure. And I'll probably make a video about that at some point next year. But like, I don't want it to feel cluttered, right? Like, there's a certain level of maximalism that can be branded and very attractive, but there's also trauma-based maximalism that comes from just having parents who are always scared about being broke and who never threw anything away. And then you, despite how much you might make, harbor that same intensity. And now you're in your early 40s. Like, why do I have so much shit that I don't need? Oh, my mom, right? But your mother was making pennies on the dollar to what you were making and was living in a different time. And so please, please, please see if there's anything that you can learn from hearing other people talk about their stories, because we've gone from luxury to what the fuck now. This is the section that we're in now.
And some of these people have income. Like I said, I have a client that brings in $4,000 a month and can't afford to live anywhere. And what are these places going to do when no one can afford to live there anymore? And all of these people who would say that this is fair, the landlords should be able to make a profit off of housing, right? That's a whole different, don't even get me started on for-profit housing.
I'm a landlord. People saying I have a house in Boston. I charge all of my tenants just enough to pay all the bills and keep the house afloat. I charge them below market value. And it's because they're all Black people, Black Caribbean people, island people, immigrants who have come to this country to make a new life. And the idea of what they have to go through, especially in Trump's America, and for me to be price gouging them for an extra 3 or 4. And my mom was like that. My mom undercharged them to the point where she was paying out of pocket. I'm not fucking doing that because that's called being a martyr. I'm a generous, but I'm not a martyr. When I took over the house, I said, hey guys, everybody's rent is going up $300 to bring you at market value, so the bills are paid off by you. I still pay for plumbing and stuff out of pocket. Like right now, there's a furnace that broke down that I have to find some money to pay for a child. But like the idea of price gouging people in this economy makes me ill. It makes me ill. I'm not against profit, but gouging is something different.
But all of the people that would say this is fair, the landlord should be able to make a profit. All these people that are bringing in money and can't afford to live, that's their own problem. We should just throw them to the wolves. We shouldn't be giving them any money. On my way to that apartment tour, by the way, I drove past a cop kicking a homeless man off the corner.
Oh.
Like he had anywhere else to go.
You had a day.
There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell those people something, those people who are anti-spending money on homeless people. My organization, which is one of literally a million in the United States, spends an average of $30,000 to provide emergency shelter to our clients. $30,000 per client. And that doesn't include the rehousing. That doesn't include the stabilization. That just includes paying for their emergency shelter.
There's somebody in here who's going through it because I can feel it. To the person who's in here who's going through it, please let yourself have a good cry after this. I can feel it. My eyes are getting watery. I'm happy you're in here. And I feel like there's a couple of you, but there's one person in particular. I'm happy you're in here.
Just the bed. $30,000 per client. Per family. And that is all government grants. That's all government money.
Just a friendly reminder to everyone that's pumped about the housing market crash that they think is coming. When that happened in 2008, that unless you had a credit rating over 700, preferably 725, really good W-2s, solid income, you weren't getting a fucking house. Yeah. You weren't getting shit. And
for those who are like, oh, the market's about to crash, I'm about to give me a house foreclosed. I've been saying that too, but what did I say earlier? I have a savings account. I'm working on my credit. I have someone who's helping me make sure my taxes are all in order. I'm not just sitting around hoping to catch a lick. I'm preparing myself, guys. That's how you manifest. Hope and then get up and work. Pray and then get up and work, right? So if you have no savings, have not like conceived of any kind of way to improve your situation, are not applying to new jobs, are not using that gift that you have to create your own stream of income. It doesn't have to be a business, but it could be a service. If you haven't even done the groundwork to maintain a home, please stop talking about you about to get a home, because what you're explaining is being the architect of your own demise. Getting a house prematurely is a fucking nightmare. It's called house poor, guys. We joke about people who get apartments and rentals that they can barely afford, and how those people, oh, sorry, I forgot to plug in my laptop, how those people have nice penthouses, but they're empty. That's funny when you're renting. It's not so funny when you own the house. That's called house poor. Please do not be daydreaming about buying a house if you haven't even figured out how to live where you currently are. It's not the come up you think. It's an extra responsibility. I will tell you, the fact that I'm moving into my rental house while fielding phone calls about having to call plumbers and electricians in Boston for the house that I own, unless you're built for that, it's okay to rent. Just rent someplace that can give you an opportunity to catch your breath to save up for a house. But if you can't afford to rent properly, you also can't afford to own. People are like, no, but Blue, if you rent for $3,000 or $4,000, but you know your mortgage is only $2,500. Actually, no, baby. Respectfully, anybody worth their weight in money management will tell you when you buy a house, you're supposed to have 1% of the worth of the house in savings for incidentals. So if you have a house that costs $1 million, you also have to have $100K for the furnace to blow out and for the roof to cave in. So it's not enough to put money down on the house. It's not enough that your mortgage is less than your rent. Do you have 1% of the full value of the house tucked away for emergencies? Okay. That's the part that people miss.
And a lot of the times too, you needed the 20% down or a minimum of 10%. There weren't no like 2.5% down, 3.5% down. That shit evaporated.
This is the hotel that I reserved from November 17th, 2025 till May 17th, 2026.
Now, this one we'll get to solutions, right? What have people been doing? I really was curious, guys. I should have called this Bluecentric Investigates instead of Bluecentric Live. Because I really was like interested, like, damn, bitch, you're blessed. But like, what is everybody else doing who doesn't have the safety net they've created? And I started looking at people who were moving into hotels. Now, mind you, I live in a hotel once a month when I go to Boston to visit my mom. These people know my name. At this point, I feel like it's my third piece of housing. And living in a hotel, it was kind of cool. I was like, I could see myself living in a hotel if I was rich. But people have figured out how to live in hotels without being rich. This woman, look at this number. She paid $8,094.14 for 6 months. That is, actually, let me do the math. I'm curious. For anybody who can do the math faster than me, turning on my phone, feel free to do so. All right, I'm gonna look up the calculator app because the one that is on my phone be trying to get me to pay. All right, 80, 94, 43 divided by 6 equals 1349. This woman is paying $13.50 a month for housing. That's exceptional. Well, in LA, maybe in some parts of the country, you're like, well, Blue, I have a 5-bedroom for $900. Okay, you're God's favorite. But for the rest of us mere mortals, $13.50 is great. But let's see what she's getting for $13.50,
which is a total of 6 months, and it's going to cost me $8,094.14. No, I do not have to pay all that up front. I can either pay $307 a week, or I can pay the $1228 a month. You can even pay every 2 weeks. It really.
Oh, she's paying $1228 a month. That's even less. She must have said a couple of extra weeks. $1228 a month? What? The last time my rent was $1228 a month was when I lived in New York, right before I left in like 2007. The last time and she has free breakfast. That's one thing I do like about the hotel I be staying at. $1228 a month with free breakfast is okay. But again, guys, let's see the space. And does she live alone, or is it somebody else living there?
It's up to you. Your total amount is your total amount. I'm gonna take y'all inside my room.
Okay, let's see.
This is inside of our room, and what we get inside of here for that amount is say hey to hubby. Also, we have the full-size refrigerator and freezer. It came.
Now, I know Nene Leaks has convinced y'all to make fun of white fridges, but if you're in between blessings and you get a full fridge, white or otherwise, and a mic, is that a microwave on top? I'm saying, if you are somebody who had to face homelessness, this is an exceptional alternative. That lady who was just talking, didn't she say somebody was making $4K? Was making $4K a month and homeless. This person, had they gone to somebody said this might be a Red Roof Inn. Had they gone to a Red Roof Inn in an area where they felt was livable, they could have literally paid $1228 and still had another 2,000 plus left over for life and food. And I kind of like this.
With the microwave. It also came with the 2i stove burner here. We brought our own coffee pot and some extra items over here. It does come.
Okay, I'm about to share a tism. Okay, because y'all know this feels like a members only life, even though it's not. Probably because we're talking about like real life stuff. When I was a little girl, because my middle name is Emanuela, but people in the Irish Catholic Church that we went just called me Emmanuel. My name is Emanuela. They would have a drive for kids with, single moms or people whose families didn't have a lot of money. And they would give girl bags and boy bags because Emmanuel, which is what they called me, even though it's not my name, is spelled like a boy's name. I got boys bags for years, never got Barbies, was so devastated. And I remember I would daydream about, oh my God, I would love to have a Barbie doll and play with all of my other friends. I went to go play at the dollhouse with my friend Giselle at the time. And we had such a great time. Do you know why I'm sharing this story? I think something in my brain, my little baby brain that was like, oh, I never got to play with the doll and the mini houses and have Ken and Barbie kids, kids, you know what I mean? I never got to do any of that shit. I think that's why whenever I watch videos about like tiny houses or people living in their hotels or people living in their whatever, like little accommodations, I find it soothing because it's almost like the human version of watching dolls. Is that weird? I don't think I'm the only one. I think a lot of people even though I know I need a lot of space, right? I have 2,000 square feet in my new place, but like, I like the idea of watching people in a little house. Like it's so bizarre. I know, but I don't think it's rare. I think a lot of you might not recognize that there's something that seems almost like fun about the idea of downsizing until you have to live in it. Then it might be a little bit okay. So you guys are saying it's not just me. I think a lot of people, particularly women of a certain age, because these kids don't know shit about dollhouses now. Now they got fucking AI making fake boyfriends for them. But for those of us who are millennials, I do think the reason that millennials are so obsessed with tiny houses and glamping videos, I love watching glamping videos and watching somebody build a tent and make it luxurious, is because it feels like adult dollhouse. Maybe this is a crazy theory, but I'm convinced that we're all playing adult dollhouse. So yes, I was like, why am I enjoying watching this lady in this hotel room so much? Because it's like I'm watching a dollhouse.
With a full-size bathroom, shower, pretty nice size, and of course,
yes, and The Sims. Okay, this is so millennial coded. Shout out to the millennials. I know we're phasing out because Gen Z and shit and Alpha want to beat our asses, but I'm happy y'all get
it's all about how you make it. But this is what we are doing. Pretty much so we can like save up money, get a piece of land, and actually start paying on something that's ours. But I share a lot about hotel living, so y'all like, share, and follow for more.
This is the most unaffordable housing market that America has ever seen. Let's use this home as an example.
But the home was only $533. Oh, again, LA. In LA, a shack is $1 million, so $533 sounds amazing. But I'll let him cook.
Which is the American dream for a lot of people like me and my fiance. We do pretty well for ourselves. We earn in the six figures, and we've always wanted this. But then this happened. $553,000 for this house. You may be thinking to yourself, well, that's not so bad. Let me show you. This home that was sold for $553,000, that was listed for $489,000, sold for $337,000 back in 2018. This home in 2025 with a $553,000 sale price, 6% down and a 6.5% rate, gives you a payment of $3,716.
Whoa. Okay. That's higher than I thought. 3716 for a house that's only 553. Boy, that's higher than I thought. Wow. Okay.
So back in 2018, with a $337,000 sale price, 6% down and a 4.5% rate, gives you a payment of $1,800.
Oh wow, that's more than double. Y'all see? This is why I love videos like this. Do y'all see this? Right? That's more than double. And I'm gonna be honest, guys, I don't know a lot of people who aren't wealthy or at least affluent who can put down double digits. Most people are looking to put 6, 8% down. The days of people putting down 20%, 20% of what? Of $1 million? But the fact that the exact same house in 2018, okay, so I'm not crazy. In 2018, which was only 7 years ago, that house, guys, this is making me upset. 7 years ago, that house would have been $1,800 a month. And now, post-pandemic, it's $3,716. That is unprecedented. That is not, even for America, that is bad. Even for America, and that's saying a lot.
Which means to afford that home today, you need a household income of $230,000. When in 2018, you needed a household income of $100,000. Meaning that back in 2018, a couple with 2 entry-level jobs could have afforded this house. That's the issue that many people like me and my fiance are having.
I said, congratulations, Calcifina. What happened, love? Did you have a baby? Did you buy a house? Did you get a job? Whatever it is, congratulations. I love good news.
How is it that we have to earn more than twice as much money to do the same things that people used to be able to do just 5-6 years ago?
So it's been 7 days since I've been living in my car.
So guys, I then stumbled across people who are very proud about living in their car. I know Dawn from Lucy Pearl and then Vogue. She made headlines earlier this year, I think, when she announced that she was living in her car. I watch car content because, again, it's like watching Sims or a dollhouse. But like, hearing from Dawn made me realize just how prevalent car content had become. And I immediately, can I find that video? I immediately, when I saw that Dawn was living in her car, I immediately knew who inspired her. I immediately know. I'm going to see if I can find it while I play these videos for you guys.
Fled an abusive relationship that I'm not going back to. And I'm in a city where I have no family, and I refuse to go back home and live with either my mom or my dad or my grandparents. I'm going to make this shit work, Patch. We gonna get through this shit together.
Some people really don't think I live in my car, so I guess I gotta turn y'all to believers, I see.
I guess I gotta turn y'all to believers.
Now hold on, guys. I have a question. Would you date a man living in his car? I'm asking this as I'm looking for the Don Richards video. Would you? And I want to have the answers on the screen. Would you guys? Oh, and I also love survival shows. It's so funny. You guys are helping me figure out why I love these videos so much. Would you date a man who was technically a hobosexual? So are we saying that this new trend of living in your cars and whatever else means that we shouldn't be dating? Everybody, I haven't seen a single yes. So none of you would date a man in a car. Interesting. Okay, I'm not saying I would either. It's just that this lifestyle has been so glorified. I wonder. I know a man would date a woman in a car. In fact, abusive men would love a woman in the car because then now she needs him. I think that men who live in their cars are more prevalent than y'all think. When I first moved to LA and I got my talk show, one of my castmates was going on dates for housing. He would go from date to date and bring his cute, I think it was like a leather bag. It was like a nice bag. He'd bring this nice bag that they didn't realize had his toothbrush and his underwear in it. And he was high key going on dates for housing. And we even created a term, guys. We call it hobosexuals. So this was kind of a trick question. I said, would you guys date a man who's living in his car? You said no. And yet we know because hobosexual is so prevalent, it's become a term that somebody's dating them. Somebody lying.
Hey, see? This my blow-up bed. It's made for the back seat. So as y'all can see, we got the blow-up bed. You feel me? We ain't done yet, though. Stay tuned. We ain't done yet. All right.
You probably got a girlfriend.
Next, you gotta put the sheet down, baby. You gotta put the sheet down, baby. Clean sheets, baby. You feel me? Clean sheets, baby. Help me. Make sure that's good. Make sure that... Yes, sir! Now, if you want extra padding, you feel me? We got this boy. Stop playing with the boy. Sit that soft ass right there, baby, so I can...
That velvet?
Sight, dog.
See? This man is already showing you how he smashes girls in his car.
Next, we got the pillows. This the long pillow right here. This sit on the back like that for extra support. You know what I'm saying? Then we got our regular pillows. You know what I'm saying? Clean pillow case.
Wait, by this man? Okay, I'm not even going.
Cases smell extra good. And then, just in case it get cold, we got us a comforter. But yeah, we be up in this thing, man. Stop playing, man.
And I have to say, guys, for somebody who watches a lot of car content, it's harder for women because women have to worry about getting raped. A man living in his car is much safer than a woman getting in his car. All the women that I've seen, you see how he has his windows out? Every woman I've ever seen do car content has those things that obscure the view, and you can put it in your car to like hide it so people can't see in. So just know, if women who live the car life, they do it very different from the guys.
You feel me? You said so? See, this shit, you get good sleep in this bitch, you hear me? Feel me? I don't need you. Huh? So yes, I am living in my car on purpose, with purpose.
I lived in my car with my dog for over 400 days.
Now, he said he's living on his car on purpose, with purpose. What do I always say? Black men and white women often compete for second place because they're both half of the Wooden equation, right? The Wooden equation for white supremacy is whiteness and maleness, right? White women are white, but they're not male. Black men are male, but they're not white. Black men and white women also tend to sell car life in a much more lax, like free way. So as a black man, he showed you he doesn't even need a wall covering. He's fine because he can fight off the assailants. Now, this white girl, from what I saw in this video, I've only seen the first couple of seconds, it looks like pretty privilege is helping her a lot. So I did pull up the video of the woman who inspired Dawn. I'm gonna send that to myself on my AirDrop while you guys watch this.
Just to save money for land. Groceries, I spent $20 a week from coupon clipping. Showers, Planet Fitness. Bathrooms, porta potty, and public restrooms. I even got free water from public wells. I built out my car so my dog and I had a place to sleep, cooked every single meal outside
Having a dog is very smart and makes you harder to attack.
instead of eating out. And when my car broke down, I handled the simple fixes myself. To stack cash, I worked Uber Eats, cleaned homes, pet sat, and picked up any side jobs I could. On top of that, I made money through social media and brand deals. Most people thought I was crazy, but I knew it was the only way I'd get ahead. Living this way.
And we know social media and brand deals heavily favors non-Black creators. So again, I do think her pretty privileged. I don't think this is, I don't use the term pretty privileged like, oh my God, she's so gorgeous, everything's easy for her. No, I'm saying she's conventionally attractive, whether I find her attractive or not, right? And because she's conventionally attractive and thin and white, yes, brands are, and she's doing van life and car life, which is like some of the top searches for the algorithm. She's a cash cow for a lot of brands. And I'm pointing that out because I don't want someone who looks like the young lady before her, the young Black lady, to think they're going to have it just as easy. It's not.
Took me out of debt and helped me save $30,000. I was eventually gifted a van, which pulled me out of survival mode. But I still live in my vehicle today, still hustling and still stacking. But now I'm driving 36 hours to see a piece of unrestricted land that is finally in my price range.
She was gifted a van and saved $30K and got a bunch of brand deals. Social media has unintentionally made homelessness seem fun and sexy. That's not a judgment. That's fact-based. Everybody that we're seeing in these clips is homeless. A lot of y'all watched these and it didn't hit you. We're watching a compilation of homeless people. Yeah.
So come along with me. Either I buy this land or me and my dog keep grinding until we save $1 million.
Hey, TikTok. So I recently just ended up in a situation where I'm going to be living in my car. And honestly, I think I'm about to just sit here and document this entire experience because it comes with so many different things.
This young Black woman is telling us that she plans to throw her hat in the ring on romanticizing homelessness. And again, guys, I watched the content. I watched van life and car life and tiny house and living out of whatever. I find it fascinating. And though I do think it's dangerous because there's, as somebody who's worked in the news, there are so many stories that have come across my desk when I was in the newsroom about people who would like quit their job with $100 to become an influencer because that's the popular story. And now they're in housing shelters looking for a place to stay with their kids. Like there's some dangers around these romanticized highlight reels that concern me for people who are not panning out and looking at the bigger picture, and also clocking that they don't look like the demographic that's getting like courted for the big brand deals. Like this young lady is beautiful, but I don't think she's going to get courted for as many brand deals as the young thin white woman before her. Let's be honest.
So y'all, this is my bed. This is what I sleep in.
Hold on, let's see what this caption says. This caption says, moving into an apartment 2 weeks from today, congratulations. Struggled for the last 11 months, sleeping in different parking lots, working 12 to 15-hour shifts every day. It's almost there, 2 more weeks. Wow. Guys, I'm not judging. I'm just being honest. We're making homelessness trendy as a way to cope rather than finding real solutions. I found the video. For those who don't remember the story, Dawn from Lucy Pearl and Vogue made headlines a while back when she revealed that she was living in in her car. And I remember I was talking to Estelle about it, and she was like, don't judge. We're assuming she's not happy. Don't judge. And I was like, you're right. Because I've seen so many people who do say that they're happy living in their cars, right? And the minute I said that, I was like, oh, I know exactly who Dawn was inspired by. Like I saw it like a flash of light. Sure enough, a week after I posted this video, Dawn comes out and confirms that I was right. I think she had confirmed it in something else. And then the lady confirmed it, and I put it all together as a compilation. So let's watch this real quick.
As soon as I heard that Dawn Robinson from En Vogue and Lucy
Not blue with red locks, watching blue with blonde locks. Oh, I miss my lashes.
Pearl was living in her car, I shit you not, my very first thought was, I wonder if she's following Mother Nature on YouTube. For those of you who don't know, there's an entire community of car life and van life influencers on YouTube. And in the Black community, there's a woman named Mother Nature. I think they call her Nate. And Nate has been living in her car for 5 years. And when I saw Dawn Robinson's video, I was like, she looks like Mother Nature in this video. Does she follow her? Sure enough, she does. And Mother Nature spoke up about the controversy. Check it out.
Because I've been living in my car for 5 years, I've had a lot of people tag me in videos and reach out to ask me my thoughts on Dawn Robinson from En Vogue, who just announced that she's now living in her car. Because she reached
She's not trans, guys. She's just very strong.
out and she is one of my flowers. I was debating on whether or not I was even going to say anything.
And by the way, I'm not being facetious. One of the things that people, I just realized that people who don't know what I'm referencing might think I'm being flippant. And I actually am an ally to the trans community. A lot of the girls who, and the guys who are part of van and car life say that their favorite hack is getting a $20 Planet Fitness membership and using and working out at Planet Fitness and then using their showers. So many people who do car and van life use Planet Fitness as a shower location that they naturally just end up working out. Right? So she's not trans, but she does work out every day before she takes a shower. If I had to work out before taking a shower, I'd probably look jacked too. I love it.
But because she is one of my flowers and part of the car life community, that means she's family, and I can't have y'all coming at my family like that. Someone tagged me in a video with Jermaine Dupri talking about how does she have an assistant
if you don't have no money?
Because she can. And if she doesn't have enough to have an assistant, they got some sort of agreement that ain't got nothing to do with you and it ain't your business. Nobody but her can talk about how much money she got, what she spends it on, and how she ended up in her car. But I can say that we, the entire car life and van life community, we are not all broke and struggling, okay?
You're not all broken struggling. You are homeless, though.
There are hundreds and thousands of us, and most of us chose this lifestyle. Y'all focusing on the wrong thing, or you weren't paying attention to when she said,
I'm glad that I made this choice because I needed to go through this fire. This is not like, oh my God, poor Dawn. She's living in her car and it's terrible. Oh, what was me? It's not that. Like I said, I'm learning about who I am. I'm learning myself as a person, as a woman.
which I can totally relate to because I, living in my car, had experienced the same journey of self-discovery.
I'm sorry. I'm a shower girly. And I have very violent menstrual cramps. The idea of not being able to shower and do all the things and put CBD balm on my stomach and burn some incense, and I might be my neurospicy, my particular brand of neurodivergence. I don't think I could actually do. I think this would drive me nuts.
And not everyone who lives in their vehicle goes through the same experience, but everyone that I've talked to, they've been through some transformative period that changed their lives forever.
I felt free. That was a sense of freedom that I had. I was so free. I felt like, wow, this is so different.
Freedom.
They feel free from rent. I think the freedom they're experiencing is free from rent. Just
Been in it for the last year. I only have my power station, my little fan. Just chilling in the parking lot.
Why can I smell that video? Something about. Now I can taste it. Did anybody else smell that last video? Something about the rumpled sheets. I just caught a whiff of. Okay, sorry.
I had an idea. If you buy a storage unit, right, and you're like homeless or you don't have a place to stay, could you theoretically stay in the storage unit? Because I just walked in.
No, it's a liability. No, you cannot.
It's -6 degrees outside. It's nice in here. I'm about to take this off. Like, it's literally, you could live in here. So I'm thinking, like, if you found a way to put electricity in your unit, could you put a bed in that shit and live in it?
Yes, it's illegal.
I live in the storage unit because it's cheap.
Something ain't right with him.
In comparison to an apartment. Living here is actually really comfortable. I get a lot of things that I need and want to get done here. I can exercise.
Sir, why does he remind me of that boy from Love is Blind? This nigga said I exercise and then proceeded to do a cartwheel and then run from the imaginary cops. Yo, what if I just wanted to pick up my couch that's in storage and I run into this? I'm calling security. Mm, yeah. Yes, the booger eater. Okay. Okay, sorry. I'm just gonna perceive. Not judging, just perceiving. It's tricky for this one.
I can use the bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
I can play music anywhere in the unit. It's climate controlled in here, so it's nice and warm. This unit is 24 hours, so I can come here anytime I want to, stay here as long as I need to. We can take naps if we need to and go to sleep. So this is our living.
Oh no, he's living with that white girl. He has a girlfriend, and their entire thing is living in storage units and the woods, wherever they can, not to pay rent. Their whole thing is we don't pay rent ever, as a couple. I've never experienced homeless sex, like the smell of it, but I'm smell sensitive, guys. And some videos I feel okay. Let me stop. Sorry.
Very, very grateful to have this space. The next goal was to get an RV. The next goal after that, tiny home. And if we want to eat, I just cook right out front.
It's about to happen.
Or we'll just prepare something cold inside of the unit. Sandwiches, a lot of times we make salad. If we want to get power, we use our power bank. They also have power here so we can charge our power bank. Me and my baby will live here as long as we need to until we get the shelter that we want. Because we're living here, now we can save up more money to get what we really want. We're in it for the long haul. Thank you for the support.
When I say...
I'm sorry. You guys don't judge homeless sex. They need love too. I just don't want to smell it.
Don't record yourself doing a crime, edit the video, put commentary, and post it online. Y'all just be ignoring me. Y'all just keep scrolling. It's
Oh yeah, this the reason why I picked this guy is because he went viral and then got put out because the storage unit said, "Hey, that's our unit. Get the fuck out." Guys, if you're living a stealth life and you're living undercover in a storage unit, maybe don't share it with millions of people on TikTok. The fact that I have to say that out loud is wild to me.
It's evident every day on this app. I'm scrolling and I see a video of a man living in a storage unit. The fact that you live in a storage unit is A-okay by me. I don't see, some call you a trespasser. I call you a financial planner, if you will. But one thing, baby, you can't live in a storage unit.
Yeah.
It is unlawful in most, if not every state, to live in a storage unit. You see what I'm saying? So I watched the video and I was perplexed because I felt like you had a great plan. Excellent plan. You're going to live in that storage unit. You got your food. I saw you do a little cartwheel. You got your exercise. You got your girl with you. You saving money. You stacking up until you can buy a place, but then you posted it on the internet.
Yeah. You know what I wish was in that video? Condoms. Wet wipes. I'm sorry, I can still smell it. Sorry, let's continue.
And had you posted that and you were on Ellen the next day and it really put you into a whole nother level of money and checks and notoriety and sponsorships, I'll shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. But from what I saw, the person got evicted. So that's the thing. I want us to just, if we're doing something, and maybe you didn't know it was unlawful, baby, and maybe you didn't know, but it is. So I just want us all to take this lesson, take heed. Stop recording yourself doing shit you ain't supposed to be doing and posting it online. That's it. That's all. But you don't got to take my word for it. Yeah, who am I?
Stay in the hood, bitch. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm different. Like, I'm on different time.
Imagine stunting in front of an orange storage unit door. Is this the moment that I turn into an auntie? Because what the fuck? Y'all making fun of my faces. This is the face of someone determined not to judge. The devil is whooping my ass, but I'm holding my own because
That ass.
So if you are living in your vehicle, unfortunately, yes, you are homeless.
This video I watched in its entirety because I went looking for this video. I said, is nobody gonna mention that everybody's homeless? We just all gonna wear our bubble coats, unbathed, and our head wraps, talking about I'm different. It's not always bad to be the same. Okay? Housing is fun. Like right now, I have to pee. I'm gonna just walk to the bathroom when this live is over and wash my hands and not have to go to Planet Fitness. I'm not judging. I'm just saying, let's not romanticize being unhoused during the apocalypse. You are making yourself vulnerable in a way that Black and brown people and women in particular cannot like. It's a fragile balance that you are striking when you pull this off. And it also the smell. I'm still stuck.
By every definition of the word that matters, you are homeless, especially the most important definition, which is the federal one, the HUD definition. Homeless is living outside, living in a place not meant for habitation, or living in emergency shelter. And your vehicle is a place that is not meant for habitation. Someone is not homeless because they have a roof over their head. That would mean that people who live in a tent in the woods are not homeless. That would mean that people who are living in storage sheds are not homeless. That would mean that people who are living in abandoned buildings are not homeless. But they definitely are.
Yeah, people are actually arguing that this is homelessness, guys. Which I think is, we're arguing about not having a home makes you homeless. The fact that there has to be PSAs that living in your car means you're homeless, because social media has convinced an entire generation and their elders that it's fun to be washing out your coochie in the back of a Kia. Oh, bon Dieu.
I don't know if you're saying this because like maybe you just didn't know, which is fair. A lot of people don't know. Or if it's that this is something that is hard to say or hard to accept. I've definitely encountered that before and I completely understand. Or maybe it's just that you feel.
I do think she's right. I do think it's pride and ego, that it's more, it feels like you have more dignity if you're saying that you're choosing to have a fun life in a storage unit than to say that you're unhoused.
Feel like your situation isn't as bad as other people's, so you don't want to put yourself, like lump yourself in with them. I get that too, but you are homeless by every.
No, homelessness is not a state of mind. Homelessness is a state of housing. It's very tangible. There's no home, so you are less a home. It's English.
Every definition of the word, and these resources are for you.
The cost of living is just too high. So how are people combating this? They're doing what's called co-ownership.
So by the way, guys, I saw an amazing video on co-ownership that I cannot play because of copyright. Can't do it. But in this video, there's a new trend now of friends going in on a house together, couples buying a duplex together. And so when you buy a house now, rather than saying this house is going to live in my family forever, it's like, no, if I die, Becky and her husband will get it, but at least I have a home. It's gotten to that point. Now, mind you, I'm someone who, again, comes from a communal place where I always say the Caribbean and the Deep South have a lot in common. It's very, people who live off the land and have to be in a sense of community for survival have a different set of values. So I've always had a soft spot for Southern African-American people because they very much emulate the Caribbean, even though Diaspora Wars has convinced y'all that we're nothing alike. Ironic. And I love the idea of communal living. The fact that when I was looking at this house, I FaceTimed my sister and brought Bridget with me because in my mind, they're both going to be in this house. Mind you, Bridget is married in New York and my sister is dating in DC. And yet they know that my home is our home, right? So the sense of community that I have with home means you would think that I would like the co-ownership thing. The issue is the executive decisions. This might be my triple Virgo sticking out. My friends can come stay with me. I will give them their own guest room. It can be amazing. I'm so happy when they come over. It's like a big old adult sleepover. I do think that there's a reason why I always am Blanche when I take the Golden Girls test, and it's not just because I'm freaky. Blanche is the one who owned the house, right? Blanche lived a full, interesting, wild life, got her little piece of house, and then when life hit her friends upside the head, she said, come stay with me. That's 100% my MO. But in that, it's still Blanche's house, though. The thing that's tricky about co-ownership that doesn't work for me, even though I see the value for others, is I don't want to argue with you about what color I'm painting in the living room. I don't want to do that. So the idea of communal living where we all live next door to each other, amazing. Love it. Give me 14 more. The idea of me creating a beautiful home, you see the home I created, you agree it's beautiful and you want to join, mi casa es su casa. But I'm not going over swatches with you because I decorate based on what I need sensory wise and what brings me joy. I'm not going to compromise that. So I get it. It's just not for me.
I just bought a house with someone I'm not married to. I know this is like the number one thing people tell you not to do. We own the house 50-50 and we bought as joint tenants with rights of survivorship. So if one of us dies, the other person becomes the full owner.
Oh no, the month thing, ain't nobody stay with me for a month. Yeah, that's not a thing. So yeah, we're talking about we did a video on squatting last week, I think. And if somebody stays at your house for 30 days, I say 28. I don't even want to play them games. Somebody stays at your house for 28 days, they're a tenant. Nobody stays at my house for 28 days. If you're gonna stay at my house for more than 2 weeks, we're discussing tenancy. Like, is there a rent arrangement? Like, what's the barter system? What's happening? Like, my sister might come to stay with me next summer. We're discussing it as housing. And I'm saying, okay, well, I need an assistant. I haven't had the time to find one yet. I love you. I trust you. If I can quantify how much money your rent would be had you paid, I'll make sure that your workload, like, I'm working out a system with my sister so that if she moves to LA, whether it's she helps drive me around, she does admin, errands, there's some kind of mutual beneficial thing happening where it's not just her feeling like she's mooching. Why do I do that? Number one, people feel shitty when they keep on taking and not giving anything back, even if you think they're takers. It does something to people's self-esteem when they feel they can't contribute. So I'm doing it for her as much as I'm doing it for me. She's contributing. She's adding value, which means she doesn't have to be depressed that she's a free loafer. Number two, I don't want a free loafer. I'm not, again, guys, I'm generous. I'm not a martyr. And one of the things we teach in class, although, guys, remind me to take off the class thing. Class is sold out. Do not go to 1 to 26 at Eventbrite. That shit is sold out. I'll see y'all in September. But for those of you who did sign up in time for the January class, I always tell people, make sure that everything that you do with people that you love is mutually beneficial. Make sure you know what everybody's getting fed. Even if getting fed is like, I just feel good helping people. Okay, but just say that shit, because you can't throw it back in my face because you admitted that you like doing this, right? When things are mutually beneficial, it stops people from playing victim and from lying to themselves. Now she's saying she's cohabitating. Let's see if she's doing it with a man that she's dating or if she's doing it with friends.
Of the property. We're also working with an estate attorney to create a will, trust, financial and medical power of attorney, and HIPAA authorizations for each other. So we'll actually have a lot of the same benefits of a marriage without having to get married. And honestly, when you're signing a marriage certificate, you're signing a lot of legal documents without even realizing it. I just prefer to intentionally work through and understand exactly what I'm signing one by one rather than sign a blanket marriage certificate. As for the actual costs, we split the down payment and the closing costs.
We're the Golden Girls too. We even have muumuus. We love wearing kaftan. Well, I don't call this a muumuu. This is a kaftan, honey. I love me a good kaftan.
50-50. And we also plan to split the mortgage and any of the repairs or maintenance 50-50. We're each setting aside 1% of the home's value in a sinking fund. So whenever something pops up, we have the money to pay for it. We also understand that there may be layoffs and periods of unemployment where the other person has to cover all of the expenses. That's why we chose a place that we could both afford individually, so one of us can kind of step up and take on all of the costs if needed. Having individual financial responsibility is super, super important for me, but we also are in a partnership and we're gonna take care of each other at the end of the day, and we're gonna have periods where we trade off who pays for what. If you're planning to buy a home with someone you're not married to, I definitely recommend working with a lawyer and drafting up a cohabitation agreement. This can define.
I'm a Taurus like Candy. I love you. Call the lawyer. Not just my lawyer. Call your lawyer. Nobody who loves me thinks that I'm the girl who you have to worry is going to feel like you got taken advantage of. No, I like terms and agreements. I love me a term and an agreement when things are going well. The biggest, it is very, yeah, I'm an earth sign, y'all. The biggest, all my friends are fire signs though, so they appreciate my stability. Fire signs and air signs. The water signs cry a lot and then they run away because I won't coddle them. But I love them though. I love water signs. A lot of people don't realize that when you're the friend who's like, yeah, that's amazing. I love you so much. Let's draft up some paperwork. There's a safety implied in that, even if people are taken aback. When anybody I love comes to work for me, I remember my friends were like, oh my God, Blue, your candleship was so proud of you. We're going to come help out. I said, no. I don't want you to come help out. The level of support that I need means I have to be allowed to ask things of you. So I would rather pay you so that I feel good about asking because I know it's not a favor. I won't let any of my friends help me in the candle shop without me cutting them a check. Even for me, it takes me longer to get paid myself. I need to know that I'm building something where when it elevates, you feel like you are part of it rather than being taken advantage of. I don't ever want anybody I love to feel like they're being taken advantage of. And I think when it comes to housing in particular, that's when you have to be really, really careful, because even if you're couch surfing, at a certain point, if you are just getting hit and hit over and over by life and you never identified how to give back, people are going to feel depleted and resent you whether they tell you or not.
Find how expenses are split, what happens to the house if you break up, who owns what percent of the property, and what happens if one partner pays more to the house over time. It really requires you to have these conversations up front, and it can even tell you if you're ready to buy a house with someone. Ultimately, getting married would be more.
I always say, if you're not ready to have the conversation, then you're not ready to have the thing that the conversation was going to be about. I'll say it one more time slowly because I have a Cuban tongue. If you're not ready to have the conversation about something, that means you're also not ready to have the thing the conversation was going to be about. If we have to walk on eggshells, let's sit down. We ain't got to walk at all.
More financially detrimental to me than just buying a house with someone I'm not married to. But people do like to conveniently ignore a lot of the nuances with marriage and just tell you you have to get married.
This is my new house.
I wanted to end this on a high note. We're getting to the end of this live. I thought that this was going to be a short live. It's already been 2 hours and 45. How do all of our lives, this is when I'm exhausted, end up being this long? Probably because I missed y'all. This is a group of friends, and look what it says in the caption, in the thing. It says, POV, when your bestie surprises you and says she bought the house next door so that all 4 of you can live in your own self-made compound in the neighborhood. My literal dream. Growing up, my mother lived on the first floor with me and my aunt. She had a triplex in Boston. Boston, they have triple deckers. My uncle and my goddaughter and their family lived in the second floor. And my bachelor uncle, who was always out impregnating somebody's child, he lived on the third floor. I grew up with my, like, generations of my family all living in one house. And they left one by one to buy houses. So they would stay with us and save up enough money. My aunt moved 2 doors down and still has that house. My other uncle moved to Randolph. Everybody who left my mother's triple decker went on to get a house of their own. And guess what I just found out? My uncle's wife, she's now emulating my mom. She lives on one floor with her husband, her daughter, and her children live on another floor. It's very, I just love that sense of community, right? I love that. And you don't need to be blood relatives. You don't. And so to me, my solution is, which is what I'm doing this week. Oh, this is making me emotional. When I realized I couldn't afford a luxury apartment, a penthouse, while still having the quality of life and the financial freedom that I seek, I decided I'm just going to lean into my inner Blanche and get me a big, cute house where my friends can come stay with me when they're in town, and we can eat cheesecake and talk about boys and adventures and whatnot. So that's what I did. I didn't get the penthouse. I didn't get the luxury high rise. I rented a new house. And I love that for me and my friends in my community.
Are you a fucking liar right now?
Oh, I love going on. I've been on girls trip with all my, the 2 friends who I see the most. I've been on girls trip with them ad nauseum. And my favorite thing about them is they love to have fun, but they also know when to leave me alone. I love a friend who can party, and if the next day you say, hey, I need an 18-hour nap, they're like, all right, I'll see you tomorrow. And they go to the function without you with no shade, no anger. I love that. I love me a good opt-in, opt-out. First of all, the joy on their faces is sincere, you can tell. And the thing is, people always call it low maintenance friendships. I don't even think it's low maintenance. I think it's low assumptions. Let's make that a thing. Rather than say low maintenance friendships, because I'm going to be honest, my friends get thousands of dollars of free advice from me. It's not low. I invest heavily in people that I love, so it doesn't feel honest for me to say low. But having me on your phone at 2 a.m., I will give you my all as if you are a paying client. So it's not low maintenance, it's low assumption. We're slow to assume bad intention. We're slow to assume ill intent. We're slow to assume nastiness, right? We clarify way before we get to anything. In fact, my sister and I, when you see us argue, we argue like people who love each other. I'll be like, yo, I love you so much. The way what you just did was completely unacceptable. And I'm going to give you an opportunity to figure out how to fix this because it can't happen again. And if it does happen again, you're allowed because you're an adult and I can't tell you what to do. I just need you to understand why I'm going to disengage if it happens again, though. And then she'll be like, I don't know how to ask for help. Thank you for calling it out. And then she'll cry and I'll hold her. And then she'll commit to doing better. She'll tell me how she's going to do better. And then I'll watch her do better. It's very rigorous. It's very healthy, right? And the thing is, she knows I love her enough to keep it a fucking stack. This co-housing situation only works if you know that somebody respects and loves you enough to keep it a stack even when shit's uncomfortable. I could never do co-housing with a shameless people pleaser who is not in the middle of treatment for that. If you're a people pleaser who likes that shit, we can't do co-housing, child. We can't. Because people pleasers are constantly lying to be liked while I'm constantly telling the truth and stunned that anybody fucks with me. I don't need to be liked. Being liked is amazing, but I prefer to be respected, right? And so if you're going to think about co-housing, because I feel like there might be some folks in here who are like, I have that one homegirl who had a divorce and I got that extra room. Just be clear, though. Ask yourself, can this person have those difficult conversations with you without jumping to nasty assumptions or being defensive? That's the one thing. And they're fire signs and air signs. You would never think this, right? You see me with Bridget and Kendall and my sister, all Aries. You see me with Mike and Dexter, Sag and Leo, all fire signs. None of them are defensive. And none of them assume bad intention, even with all that fire in their belly. That's the key, guys. Especially if you're somebody who's neurodivergent, who's very direct and blunt and matter of fact, find people who are not quick to assume that you're an asshole. Because my best friend of 24 years, I loved him. Our entire 2.5 decade relationship ended because he was quick to assume a bunch of nasty things about me, and not a single one of them was true. But by the time he found that out, he was too proud to admit it. So yeah, low assumption, but not low maintenance.
At this point in time, I think the American dream for most women is just to move into a co-op with their besties. Just the girls, maybe some dogs, affordable rent, community, the dream. And one woman in Texas is
community with a little bit of dick. Can we just, if I got a man friend, can he just, he can stay in his room, but God, I am the Blanche. Oh my God, I just heard it. Okay.
Making this dream come true. 70-year-old Robin Yerian set out to make an affordable, safe, welcoming neighborhood when she built the Bird's Nest. It's an all-women tiny home community in Cumbie, Texas, where rent is only $450.
The Bird's Nest. I kind of love that.
A month. When Yerian was planning her retirement, she knew she couldn't support herself, so she bought 5 acres and put about $100,000 into developing the land and moved her own tiny home to the property in 2022. Today, the Bird's Nest has 14 concrete pads where women can either park their RV or build their own tiny home, with rent again at only $450 a month, and there's more than 500 people on the wait list. Most of the residents are
I fucking love this. This is like my dream.
Single women. Some are retired, some are starting over after divorce, and some are escaping tough situations. And these women haven't just found affordable housing, they found real community. They drive each other to doctor's appointments, check in on each other when they're sick, and they help each other and support one another, like family.
That's one of my biggest sadnesses of this section of life is that my aunt passed and my mother lost her best friend. My mother, with her sister and without, it's night and day. And I don't think we fully understand. We know what it's like to look for love, right? And even if you're LGBTQ plus and the platonic and romantic lines get blurred, we all know that romantic love is important. I don't think we really talk enough about sisterhood and like friendship love, that agape love, right? That's beyond just sexual attraction and attachment. The older you get, if you're doing it right, the more softened your heart is to what a true kinship looks like, regardless of blood or not.
In order to be considered, prospective tenants have to meet all of the residents at the Bird's Nest, and many people fly in to go through the vetting process. Yerian says she'll never raise the rent, and she even offers discounts to women who are struggling financially. Her philosophy is simple. You build community by showing up for one another. The Bird's Nest proves that you don't need wealth or excess to be happy, and Yerian proves that you don't need to exploit others just to make as much money as possible, because true community is worth so much more. Would you consider a living situation like the Bird's Nest?
Absolutely.
I'm 41 years old. I'm 5'6".
Thank you for being a friend.
Realizing that you're golden girls. Guys, this wraps up my first fully topical, non like pop culture sit down with y'all. I'm proud of y'all for sticking around. I was concerned. I was like, the girls usually like a little bit of a mess at the beginning, but this felt too important to just attach to some mess. Now, if a celebrity had got put out, then I would have done that. But today just felt good to just do this. You guys, do you like this? Do you like when we just talk about things that are really happening in life without it always having to have, you know, a celebrity thing or a gossip thing happen? Because I have fun, but I also just love good conversation, right? Oh, you did like it. Okay, that makes me happy. Because I was like, oh no, I'm doing some new shit. What if they all revolt? Somebody said we need a blue crew nest. Oh, that'd be it. Oh, I would love that. I would so love that. And I will say this too. For those who I kept feeling emotional in the room needed this or were touched by this or felt triggered by this, just know that I hope that you felt that you were in good company and that we were holding space for you. And for the phrase, because you guys know I love to read your recap phrases. But you know what? When I read your recap phrases, when I'm stuck on a flight, I'll just go read all of them because I'm like, I'm stuck on this plane for 6 hours. I have a flight in like 24 hours. Your statement for the recap comment section is, my ideal living situation is, and then write 1 or 2 sentences, and or if I was a golden girl, I would be, who would you be as a golden girl? If I was a golden girl, I would be Blanche. And my ideal living situation is to be in a beautiful multi-home commune area where my mom and my friends and I all have our own housing and space for us to congregate and like love on each other until we turn into matter. Yeah, it's so funny. The older I get, the more I realize that my mother had it right all along. Shout out to the Scorpios. Y'all are misunderstood, probably because y'all have trust issues, but it's okay. Love y'all. All right, guys, this concludes our live for today. I will be going live over the weekend when I'm on the East Coast, but my last 24 hours in LA, I got too much to do. And I think I'm going to be on Carlos. Yeah, I'm going to be on Carlos King tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow I'll be on Carlos King. I don't know what time. I don't know if it's a pre-tape or not. I'll keep you guys posted. But I will be doing another live this weekend, and we're gonna be doing a members live this weekend as well, or just this week, because there's a story about us. And some of you probably, if you know what I'm talking about, don't say it in the chat because it might trigger people. Something really tragic happened to a young woman recently. And it made me appreciate the space that we've created and how kindness it can be healing because cruelty can be devastating. So please be gentle with yourselves within reason while still holding yourselves accountable. All right. Love you, family. And yes, I will be reading the comments and the recap. So don't forget. All right. Bye.